Good morning. Good morning. I'm just gonna wait for people to come in. I did not do my thumbnail earlier, so I'll let you all get some time to get notified that I am here and online. And hey, Psalms, good to see you. Good morning to you. Yes, you are first. I was running a bit behind, so I said, let me just run behind so that I can run behind and just be when I'm on, I'm on. I don't have to be worrying about other things. The chickens are okay. Did some tidying up in there. Have my tea here and just checking in with everybody. And hope everybody's doing well. Happy Remembrance Day. I don't know if it's happy, but Remembrance Day. Good morning, Six Bows. Good morning, Wine Cellar. I think some other people are live now. I guess they didn't see me go live, or they were gonna go live anyways. I don't know. Some people that I watch. So okay, no problem. They'll probably check in later. I hope everyone's doing well. So we're going to have some talk about prepping today. Good morning, TLC. Good morning, Erica. My hands are dry from washing dishes. Man, I need to start. I'm starting to wear gloves now because it's getting out of hand. When your own hands are feeling like sandpaper to yourself, you got a problem. And I literally cream my hands multiple times a day. Not the cheap stuff, good stuff. And it's just right. Good morning, badass. Good morning, African. Good morning, everybody. Because I don't see you. I see you, but I may have missed you. I hope everyone's doing well today. It's a little chilly. Well, winter's on its way here, so that's what's happening over here. Water softener. Yep, telling you. Keeping hydrated, keeping yourself moisturized. It's difficult. Yeah, I have to be outside every time I go outside to check on the chickens, which is at least 4 to 5 times a day. You have to wash your hands thoroughly every time, so you can imagine. And between that and sanitizer, antibacterial soap, and yada yada yada, your skin is not really happy. I'm just gonna put on my glasses. Oh, girl, I love that soap. I last Christmas was the first Christmas we had a get together again. Probably it wasn't really get together, but and my aunt uses platinum. I just use whatever soap, but that soap gets things clean better and faster, which is why my hands dry out. So that's kind of why I started wearing gloves. Those yellow gloves when you wash. Hey, morning, she said, when you wash your dishes, like those old people or people who work in restaurants. Yeah. But that soap, I love that soap. Um, I think I missed something. I'm just trying to see. Someone's saying somebody reminded them. I don't know. I missed something. But yeah, hit the thumbs up as you come in, or maybe you want to wait before you hit it up because you may not, you're checking it out. But we're gonna talk about prepping a bit today, basics. Good morning, Miss D. Yeah, you got to use gloves, but I love that soap. I feel my dishes feel clean. There's no grease and residue on it, especially when you're washing those takeout dishes. I don't use them, but I reuse them to store stuff for the chickens. When I get the food from the restaurant, I put them in those takeout dishes and put them in the fridge, and then I take them outside and then serve them to the chickens. But um, that's why they make a dishwasher. I have a dishwasher, but I don't have enough dishes to justify. Even if I use half the rack, like you have a half a rack setting, I don't have enough to have half a rack. Good morning, Darren. I would have to literally store up dishes for a few days before I could run the dishwasher, and it doesn't make any sense. If I had, somebody else living here, then maybe that would make more sense. Good morning, DJ Ron, Tamika Davis. Good to see you guys. It would make more sense, but it really doesn't make sense. If I have company over, yes, they load the dishwasher. Good morning, Fifi. But it doesn't make sense. That's why I don't use it that often. I wish they would make, well, they do make them, but I would have to, when I get my homestead or like the house that I really want, I am going to get them to install maybe in like a butler's pantry those mini dishwashers for like condos, for like just like four plates, a couple of forks, knives, spoons, a couple of glasses. I would want a separate unit to run those extra small loads, because to run a full dishwasher with a half load, you need a good half load to make it make sense. Yes, I'm cheap, but yeah, I'm not going to run it for that. Okay, so I'm going to just get right into it. And this is going to be a collab, so you all going to have to help as well. And we're going to talk about what are you preparing, and how you prepping, and how you storing these preps. And before I drop the link, let me just talk about why this is always going to be coming up in conversation. This is never going to be old or stale, and we can always refresh our skills and get some new tips. But what's happening over here, with all the wars and stuff that's happening around, it's causing a lot of tension over here, first and foremost. Good morning, Mrs. Queen. And I don't think Frugal Mama, good to see you. Okay. And if I don't keep up with the chat, just excuse me. I'm just gonna be like looking for comments about prepping, but I'm not ignoring you. Just wanna I don't want to drag it out too much today. I want to get the plastic on the chicken coop. I got the plastic purchased. I put more leaves in there this morning. I am gonna put some diatomaceous earth down because it doesn't smell, but I don't know. Maybe it's the moist leaves. I do have an issue with mice. I said that last week. Let me ask about that as well before I get into the prepping. But Howie gave me a tip for flour and baking soda. I was looking it up yesterday. They're saying that's a myth. It's not true. Has anybody ever used flour, baking soda mixed to kind of let the mice eat it, and as a natural poison, so that you're not poisoning other animals or predators or harming maybe your chickens? Has anybody used baking soda as a mouse deterrent or a mouse eliminator? Let me know while I read the chat. So Psalms is saying, as for prepping, I've been trying to have some extra water bottles on hand for if something happens, where we can use the top. Sorry, my eyes lost where I was. Oh, so we can't use the tap. Sorry, use the tap. But my husband has been keep drinking out emergency supply. Let me get what I have, which I told you guys, but let me show you. I get the big bottles now from Costco. Because exactly, those small bottles are easy for people to take, and they'll just take them and drink them. So you have to buy 3 times as much as you need to stock up. So that's very true, but I'm going to show you what I use, which you guys know, but to visually see it, I'll be in these streets using my military discount to stock up on supplies. It can be done. Some stores already have good prices on turkeys. Thank you very much. For us, it's not Thanksgiving here. Ours is in October. You all have yours coming up, but turkeys are on sale. Whole chickens are on sale, things like that. We will be discussing. But yeah, the mice are a problem. I went into the coop, and I'm seeing that the turd or the doo doo is getting a little bigger. So I was concerned. I moved some totes out the way. I checked behind. I don't see a hole, but I did see a mouse run through a crevice and a crack. So mice can fit through a quarter. Like they can bend up their body. They're the original extortionists. So that's not really, I can't control all of that. I bought some sticky traps. I bought some other traps. I can't find my original 2 traps. I don't know where they went. I put them down somewhere and I can't remember where I put them. But if anyone knows about natural ways to eliminate them, please, we'll discuss that as well, because I don't want to put poison down. I was going to put poison down last night. I swept the shed where the chicken coop is. I was going to put it on the perimeter, but everyone is so concerned that if the chickens, peck at a mouse and they're contaminated with poison, so am I, or, a cat, a dog, or whatever else. We don't want to be harming other animals, but there's just too many mice. mouse is too many. Good morning, Healy Means. Good morning, Cece. Good to see you. Oh, it's 6:30 a.m. California time. Well, have your cup of tea, get your coffee, and take your time. Um, Reverse osmosis. Water filtration is very important, depending on your budget. I was looking into that, and I'm still confused, but I think I'm going to probably get the Santivia for now. And they just launched a glass container for that. But let me get that water jug so you guys can see that first and foremost. For Psalms, give me one moment. Okay, so I do have several cases of the 24, but the ones that I buy now are these big jugs. This is what I buy now from Costco. I'm not recommending any brand over another brand. This is what I can get. They only have one brand in these big jugs. And when these jugs are empty, this one's empty, I am going to be filling it with tap water, probably water from the hose because that has a filter on it. And I'll be putting some in the garage. I'm going to label it with a marker like hygiene. You can drink this water as well if it's tap water, but I'm going to put a few bottles in the garage for hygiene. And as well, I'm keeping more than a few because during the winter months, my outside hose, which should be off already, but I'm going to turn it off this week. I can fill up the chicken waterers with that, so I don't have to bring the stuff into my house. Hopefully, that will last me up until January, February. If not, then I'll have to start carrying smaller jugs, the 1 gallons of water outside, but that won't be as filtered as the one that's on the hose. Okay, she said he might be back. So that's what I'm doing. So for me, that's what I buy for the house. And I did a video already. You guys can check that out if you don't know. There's a pump you can buy for those big jugs. That's you charge it with LED. What am I saying? LED. USB. Wrong word. You charge it with a USB charger. You press a button and it siphons the water out for you. That's what I have in my kitchen and at my parents' house. I said we're not buying any more of those 24 cases of water. We do have them in stock, but that's for emergency. If someone comes over, they need some water. If you have a worker coming over, if you need to go on the road, you need to carry water. But we usually carry a stainless steel bottle now. We still have those, but in terms of our emergency storage of water, we're buying the big jugs. It's about $3 and something cents. And those jugs, when they're empty, can be used for more things. You can cut them in half and do like a hydroponics, aquaponics kind of thing on your veranda. You can do a lot of other things with the jugs when they're finished, or the 1 gallon jugs. I don't buy the 24 cases as much. 1 gallon jugs and those 5 gallon jugs. That's what I'm doing. But we all have our own space and our own situation. So there's no right or wrong. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing to see, give you guys some different ideas. Now, the reason why we're talking about this again, just to refresh, is because there's a lot going on over here with all the wars and conflict happening. People are picking sides and protesting over here, and there's been some clashes. Also, a lot of newer people are waking up and really feeling uneasy and anxious, and in turn making people in my circle feel uneasy and anxious, which now in turn has come up to me. And which was a good conversation I had with my family. This, I can't know if it was Friday or Thursday, and I was a bit irritated, but I'm like, because what we're doing something, like we're not doing nothing, we're doing something. But after a meeting with the family, which was good because they need to also get more involved because I can't do everything, we can now strategize more effectively because we're buying. But I had admitted to you all, nothing's organized. Good luck finding something when you need to find it. My garage has become a dumping ground of stuff. When I moved here and my parents had to renovate, I had to take all my stuff from their house, and it's just a dumping ground. And as of now, I'm trying to get it organized and have things stored away properly. I found some boxes in there that are just greasy. So something burst or spilt. I don't know what it is. It could be my big bottle of sewing machine oil for the industrial machine. I don't know. I have to go in there today and get that sorted out. I had to buy some totes because I had stuff in cardboard boxes. Not a good plan. Mouse prevention as well. Blah, blah, blah. So we came full circle and we had a meeting, and we're going to change what we're doing. Still going to prep heavily because they everyone is sensing a change in the tide and a change in the atmosphere. Many of us have sensed that from 2-3 years ago, but now everyone is like catching up, and it's a good time to revisit what we're doing, why we're doing it, and to keep stocking up while things are kind of calm and low key before things get more out of hand. Um, Rodents are smart. I treat my shed only, nothing in or around my chicken coop run. I also keep my dog away from my shed. Okay, so the shed up top, I can probably put poison down. The chicken coop now, you don't put nothing. So you just put a lot of traps around there, then I guess peanut butter and traps. Let me know. I usually buy the 3 liter or 1 gallon bottles to prep with. I still need to empty the pop and juice bottles that I have stocked up at the apartment and bring them over. Yes. Those are not, I'm not, hey, good morning, Bouger. Good morning, executive sessions. I am not throwing away anything that I have. I have cases of water. Then my dad was talking about, well, when do they expire? I said, Dad, everything has an expiry date. And sometimes the plastic may leach into the water. But at this point in time, things are so, good morning, Cassandra. Things are so expensive. I don't think we have an option to throw away stuff. I don't think that's even on the table. My opinion now. Um, I don't think that's even an option. So we have to just do what we got to do and store it as best we can, as safely as we can. And if we need to use it, we use it. But I'm using stuff as I buy them. I'm not piling them up. So if I have to use water, the 24 case, I'll use what I have and then replace it with a fresh one. And then put the fresh one on the bottom and keep using it that way. We used to do it the wrong way, which is just storing it up and leaving it there and then buying food to eat fresh. And then that food just got no good. The beans had weebles and all kind of stuff. So all that old food is not going to be wasted. It's going to be boiled in a pot, got to cool, and the chickens will eat those stuff. Those foods are not going to be thrown away. Um, okay, so a natural way to get rid of mice. Let me star that comment so I can find it later. Is star anise, cinnamon stick, 1 tablespoon each of clove and red pepper. Sorry for the caps. Oh, no problem. I have red pepper flakes. What I found as well for mouse is the last few times I fed my chickens, like I mix a 5-gallon bucket. I have those big metal garbage cans with their food in it. I don't keep that in the chicken coop. That's in my garage. I might move it in the spring to the chicken coop, but then it's so hard to see behind places and crevices. So I kind of put it in the garage and I carry a 5-gallon bucket. I fill it up, mix it with, sunflower seeds and all the different stuff, and then put the 5-gallon bucket in the chicken coop. That bucket lasts me sometimes 2 weeks because they don't eat that much of that because I give them other food. I was putting hot peppers, black pepper, and all that stuff in there, but not so much now. And I think I need to go back to the chili flakes, the pepper, because the mice don't like that, and then they won't eat the food. So I did that this week. I got some more chili flakes and all that to make the food extra spicy. Good morning, Jegs. So that's what we're talking about. Yeah, I got it. Star anise. I've never used that. I've heard so much about it, but I've never used it. 1 gallon from Wally World. 10 to someone randomly start leaking even before it's. I don't know why it leaks. Unless you have heavy things on top of it. I don't buy the Wally World one. I buy the one from the grocery stores. I know like other grocery stores because they each have their own brand. I have bought the Wally World one, yes, but I don't go to Wally World very often. I go to my local shops. Like we have Freshco, No Frills, Metro. We have other stores like that. So and Food Basic. Those are like the cheaper lower end store, not lower end, but like Aldi. Wally World is not really first on my list anymore unless I go to the one in a nice area that's fully stocked. So I'm gonna drop the link. Did I drop the link? I think I dropped it already, but I'll drop it again just in case I forgot. Because I'm behind in the chat. But yeah, maybe the brand because their bottles are cheap because they're paying for cheap plastic bottles that leak. I haven't had an issue with the 1 gallons leaking. I also buy the 1 gallon distilled water for the diffusers for my house and my dad's house, for the cool misty humidifiers, because that helps when you're in a cold climate for your skin and your lungs and stuff like that. So I do buy, and I have the 5 gallon of distilled water as well, because if you're doing hydroponics like I'm doing now, I don't have time to be going in back and forth. I just buy 1 or 2 of the largest distilled water and keep that in the house, and I can use that because I'm going to start going inside in the next month or so. I left a gap so that any bugs and stuff could be died off outside, and hopefully that's fine. Yes, I'm going to be working on organizing because this is the problem. You can't find stuff. So for us, we've decided to start to invest in the proper buckets and the gamma lids. I use black pepper, mothballs, and rat poison. Okay, so I'm going to use black pepper and mothballs into the chicken area. I was also reading up that you can sprinkle coffee grounds around your run, and that turns off a lot of um insects and mice. So I do have some old coffee grinds that I keep for my compost, but I will sprinkle them around the perimeter of the run and the perimeter of the coop, so that the girls are not near it. But I'm gonna try that as well. I'm trying to be on top of it because I don't want any neighbors to say, "Oh, now we're getting all these mice and stuff," when the mice were already here from before because we have nothing behind us. But the first thing they'll say is, "Oh, it's because she has chickens." When it's really not the chickens, it's the food, and I don't leave food out at night. Good morning, Planter. Good morning. I think I said hi to Cece already. If I missed you, my apologies. So this is what we're doing. Good morning, G Mama. So hopefully you guys are prepping. So water is a prep that you can't slow down on. The reason I told my family, and I told when I talked to the church about prepping, we had a seminar a few months in the summertime, a few months ago. People are starting to wake up. So now they're getting very anxious, and it's causing anxiety and people, where are we with our prepping? What do we have? But it's good to revisit. What do we have? Where is it being located? Is it being stored properly? For me, no. It's not organized. You can't find stuff when you need it. You have to keep things neat and tidy so that you can keep the area free of rodents and vermin and even ants. So you need to be able to get around stuff, see stuff, put traps out. And if everything's just thrown and piled up on each other, when something goes left, you're going to have to move stuff, and people are going to probably see you because you have to now open the garage door, move stuff to find stuff, and they can see what's going on. I'm trying to make myself be concealed and people don't know what I have. So that's what's happening over here. So the first order of events for me is to get proper buckets and to get let me see you, Jay, just to make sure, and then you can turn off your camera. Oh, you cut off. And the gamma lids. Now, I have always used bay leaf. That's how I was raised. I think most of you guys do that as well. So let's talk about specifics. So I have bulk cornmeal, and I have oatmeal, and I have flour. Let's just stick with those 3 for now. Flour, oatmeal, oats, whether it's steel cut or rolled oats, and cornmeal. Is bay leaf enough with a gamma lid? Do I need to do anything else? Do I need oxygen absorbers? Do I need now that I have animals, do I need diatomaceous earth to mix in there a bit to kill any other stuff? What do you guys do? I'm not throwing away water either. I'll filter it through my Alexa Pure. I can't even talk. I heard of that one as well. Okay, I see you. Hold on. Okay, good. You can turn it off if you want. Let me know. Okay. Okay. Hey Jay. Morning.
Hey, good morning, sis. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah,
Sorry, taking a sip of my tea. If the filter doesn't work, you're right. Everything is way too. Yeah, I'm not throwing away water. I know water has an expiration date. Um, I'm not throwing it out. Good morning, random JL. I'm not throwing it out.
I
I'm gonna have to
I
use it
don't
some way
blame you.
somehow.
Until water actually start physically rusting, which it can in about 30 years. Uh, it's always a use for water. Always. I ain't throwing
Yes,
away no water.
not throwing it away. And especially when you have livestock, it may not be the best. It may have like I can't speak to all of the health issues, but I'm sorry, water's too important to be throwing it away because it's expired. Hey Mona, good to see you. First time seeing you here. Thanks for joining in. I'm not doing that, and I think the filtering is a good idea. That's why I need to get a good filter to try to filter out anything. But these microplastics are a big problem in a
Hmm.
lot of things that we're eating and drinking. So I have no control over that. All I can do is have what I need and not have to beg, borrow, or steal.
Yep.
I'm just keeping up. We have put Dollar Tree plastic mousetraps with a little bit of peanut butter near the compost bins. Got a few we saw until we can get time to turn the piles. Okay. So peanut butter seems to be, yeah, because I don't want these rodents getting, they breed, man, like cockroaches. They're just disgusting. Plastic
Yeah, they
jugs
do.
leak after a while. I sterilize and reuse glass bottles from, yes. What I've been using for you guys who don't know, if you guys, well, those who make wine, you can get those same big jugs like I showed you in glass. So I saw a couple of people, older people, they always have like the health consciousness, I find. He has the big 5-liter glass jug and he goes to Whole Foods and he buys the osmosis water. If you bring your own jugs, they charge you per liter or per gallon and you pay a flat fee. So I asked him, I go, "Oh, where'd you get those big glass, drums from?" The wine making store. So two Italian people who are older were throwing out their big wine things. It's not the same shape as the water ones, but it's a bit curvier. So I picked them up from the side of the road and I'm going to sterilize them and I'll transfer some of the water into those vessels and leave them in the garage. It's a very thick old fashioned glass. You can't get those anymore. But they're
Right.
finished with their winemaking days. They're retired. They're going into nursing homes. But yeah, you can buy those 5-gallon glass jugs. Good morning, Juicing with Jay in glass. Over here, they're about 40 something dollars, maybe 50. It's probably cheaper in the US, but you can buy them in glass and you can go to your, I think even Home Depot, Whole Foods, I'm sure Sprouts, and you can buy osmosis water or spring water and fill up your bottles yourself. And then they charge you for the volume if you don't want to buy
Yeah.
things in plastic. So it's up to you guys what you want to do, but there's options out there. Let me see what TLC is saying. Do I freeze flour? Not right now. I don't have a. I need to get a deep freezer. I don't have one at the moment. All I have is the freezer with the fridge, and that's why I can't do what I used to do. But I think you freeze it, and then you take it out and put them in the bucket. First few days to kill any bugs. I think the flour I have here has been here so long. I'm sure that there might be a nest in there already. But let me know what I can do if I can't freeze it. But I do freeze it. Yes. I saw a lady from Living on a Dime use diatomaceous earth on the top of the gamma lids. She says it works great. On top. Do you mean on top to keep the bugs from going in the bucket or in the actual food? Because I saw somebody put it in the actual food to keep the bugs from forming because we can eat DE. It's not toxic. It actually is a natural dewormer for people. So it's good for digestion. I always wanted a rain barrel. Hold on. What did Juicing with Jay say? Oh, you got a rain barrel? Good for you, because you're in California. You need to have some
Yeah, I saw that.
water. That's very good. Good morning,
Hey,
Shar. I
everybody
see you
speaking in
there.
the chat. Sorry, Urban.
So what do you have? I know you got water uh over there. Is it water tanks? Was it the what you call it? The
Yeah.
what do you call it? Tell me what you call it. Sorry. I can't find my
Well,
words.
You know, you're right. It's a water tank. A few months ago, we got a 1,000 liter water tank, which has been a lifesaver because of how the infrastructure over here kind of in and out. And hey, Bougie,
Good morning,
uh,
Grand Rising.
Morning and rising. So
and
do you call
it's
it
been.
is it like an IBC tote kind of design African?
We just I just
Like,
call it a water tank.
but does it look like a square or is it like the big round
No, no, no.
extra large
Oh,
barrel?
you talking about the IB, the ones that
Like,
are
is it, yeah, is
used.
it like the big square or do you have like the big round ones on the roof like in the
I
Caribbean?
have the yeah, it's very much like, come on, man, it's just like the Caribbean over here. I got so many Jamaican homeboys and families over here. But yeah, it's the big round ones that typically use a gravity fed force. Some people attach pumps, but it's the big round ones that
Okay, so yeah,
you
you pump. And do you have a solar heat water heater on there on the roof?
we don't have solar water heater. We using that uh those resources to do the stuff we want to do back home when we get back to
Okay, okay.
Texas. Yeah, but that's
Hmm.
another great investment. But I'm glad you having this conversation because, as you stated earlier, it never goes out of style. It never gets old. It's constantly encouraging people and reminding people who kind of we can all get complacent after a while. People who homestead, people who prep, and these kind of conversations. Some people, myself included, need to hear it because it's like, okay, let me get back on my game. I've been slacking a little bit. I've been doing this. Let me
Yeah,
get back on it.
I
that
kind
would
of
be
fell
me.
off because you get busy, but and then we're waiting for Bougie to come back with her cast iron skillet Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays,
And
and her
Wednesdays, yes.
I'm
waiting for
trying to
that.
get back into it.
Mhm,
We kind of settled in now that we in the house, but we was in
mhm.
two places at one time, and that was a
Hmm.
lot.
Girl, that exactly. It's people don't understand that like when your life is in shambles, you don't have time for the putting up a
Right,
video and telling you do what you need to do and just do it and mind my business. Well, and you mind your own business and get back to it when you can because
right.
there's lots of videos
Dad, I
out
heard
there. But
you
sorry, go ahead.
asking about the bay leaves.
Yes,
I'm
please.
not sure what you have in the bucket, but as you know, I do a lot of rice and beans, and that's
Okay.
all I use is the bay leaves and the oxygen absorbers. And I have open rice that was 2 years old. That was 2 years. I put the year when I put them in a bucket. I put what kind of rice it is, and the year
Hmm.
that I put it in the bucket, and we've had no bugs at
Nice.
all.
Has the rice gone rancid? Because I find in some cases, sometimes people. So you put it. What do? You take a
No.
big bag of rice, you pour it in a bucket, and you put bay leaves like every few layers.
Yeah, because
Few
I'm
layers. You pour
OCD-ish.
some.
I
Yeah.
actually put bay leaves in the bottom,
Hmm.
then I put the rice in, and then yeah, I'll put some more
Layer,
bay
layer,
leaves,
layer. Okay.
and then when you finish, I put the bay leaves and the oxygen absorber on the top,
On top. Has
and then
anybody
yeah,
here used diatomaceous earth, or that's not even necessary?
I never used it, not in none of the buckets that
Okay,
I
and then your gamma lids are enough to keep it sealed.
I have both. I kind of like the gamma lids better
Hmm.
because the other lids you have to bang them shut, and
Yeah, and that could hurt
them
you. When you're
puppies
older, it's
is a
harder.
doozy to get back open.
I had to buy one of those wrenches to open those bucket
Yeah.
lids because the
Mhm.
new
And
lids that
even
you
if you have
buy,
that, it's still not easy to
girl,
open.
and put the coal on top of that in the snow. The stupid buckets nowadays are not as pliable. So even to put the chicken
Right.
feed, I'm like, what the hell kind of lid is this? It's like locked shut for life. I had to buy
Mhm.
a wrench from Amazon to click around to even get the lid
Yeah.
open.
Open it up.
That's
Yeah.
too
I,
tight.
I
hey, can I?
it, it,
That's a good
mhm.
investment. I'm sorry, Herb. I'm sorry,
No, go
Bougie.
ahead.
That's a
You
good
have to get the
investment.
tools.
I've
Sorry, I
almost
cut you
torn
off.
Mhm.
Go
off a
ahead. You go ahead.
fingernail. I done almost tore off a fingernail trying to open some of these doggone
Mhm.
buckets, man.
Mhm.
And it's just a pain. So that's a great investment. Save yourself some time, some finger pain, some hand ache because or just in you can destroy the. I've actually messed up some lids because I use like
That's the thing,
pliers
right?
trying to
Yeah.
get them open. Yeah,
I mean,
That
that's good that they seal like that. You know, nothing won't get in, but they are. So you get it's some work to get them puppies open. So I kind of like the gamma, even though with the gamma though, you're not really sure if you closing it tight enough.
mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's with the gamma, but with the other ones, when you know when you bang that sucker down, it's sealed.
Yeah,
So
It's
you
sealed
have
tight.
both
So
kinds,
that's
and you
the
like both. You have no problem with
yeah.
either
Because
type of
I
lid.
was using the gamma first. Those are the
Hmm.
buckets that I was using first that had the rice in it from like 2020.
2 years.
Yeah. So I think the 2020 rice we used. So I think 2020. I think we have a bucket with 2021 in it. I also put um
Mylar bags.
no, that was the first thing when I first started. I seen people doing that. But
Mm-hmm.
then when I seen a video where a lady said, you don't need all of that, just the bay leaves and that's it. And I try to find simple stuff to do. I don't need no science
Right,
project because
right.
if I don't need the Marla bag, the only time I use Marla bags is with like flour, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I won't put
Right.
Hmm.
straight in the bucket. I rather put those in a Marla bag.
Mm-hmm.
But like rice or beans, no, I'm not putting those in the bag.
I don't. That's another expense. Like I
It
Yes.
want to do
is.
what
Yep.
works, but I want to do what's not. I want to spend money that doesn't need to be spent because a dollar's not a dollar anymore. Like 5 years
Right.
ago, like it's not going. It's like 75 cents. So you really don't want to be buying Mylar bags and vacuum sealing if you really don't need to. So if the bucket and the bay leaf and maybe
Yeah.
some DE is enough, I think I'll do that first. Now, Jeg said make sure it's food grade DE. And I do have food grade, but I have the regular one for the livestock. Is it really that much difference with the DE, quote unquote, food grade?
No, I don't even know. I got some. I don't know if mine is
Like I
food
have
grade.
I
food
don't
grade, and
know.
I realized why am I paying for food grade? It's like 3 times more expensive when you can go to the feed store and buy a big old, 50-pound bag for $22, and it's
Look
says
that
it's
up.
safe
Well, I
ish.
mean, when it comes to stuff like that, and this ain't going against what Jegs is saying because
Mhm,
I'm not a big user of diatomaceous earth. We don't even have access to it over here. But like when I think about it, this is just me personally. When I think about it, I see the different labeling and the way the manufacturers display and name stuff is made in the
mhm.
same facility. It's made in the same place. I'm not saying this is the case, but it could just be a matter of them sticking. It's coming off the same assembly lines, and they stick food grade on these bags and whatever else on
Mhm.
these bags,
That's
and
what I'm
charge you an
thinking.
extra
Because
$20.
charge you I'm like, yo, like, is it
Yeah,
not the same thing? I'm not swearing, I'm not saying, for sure, but I'm just asking because
right,
we
right.
spend money on things that we don't need to because it's the same thing. It's just the packaging that's
Mm-hmm.
different. So
Right.
I have a big old 20, 50-pound bag in my garage, and that's what I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
using. I'm not
Yeah.
telling anybody else to use it, but usually for beans and rice, we wash it off before we use it anyways. So does it really matter?
Right.
I don't think it to me it doesn't matter,
I,
but to you it may matter,
it's,
but yeah.
yeah. Can I say something else about this conversation you having real quickly?
Sure.
Another reason I appreciate it is because somebody in my situation, um, like when we do get back to the States for a while and we start building up the homestead and doing this and that, some of my anxious, I won't even call it anxiety. I'm just a little anxious because we literally donated. Some of it we sold, but before we left coming over here, we donated to churches, to this, to that. Some stuff we sold. We gave away equipment, different stuff that we had been prepping for like, maybe about a year and a half, 2 years. And some stuff I had for a long time. But
Mhm.
I feel like we starting over and we really want to hit the ground running. So as we
Mhm.
go through our budget and what we get and stuff we already got family getting for us before we even get back home while it's on sale or this or that, these conversations are helpful to me because it's like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one out here thinking, because some stuff, the writing's just on the wall. And it's like, we want to get home, do what we got to do, get the homestead set up. But something else you said about this feeling in the air, I don't think it's just in the States. I don't think it's just in Canada. For
Mm-mm.
those of us who have friends and family who either live abroad and talk to people from all over the world, it's this weird energy that's like everywhere. It's everywhere right now. And for people who want to, like you asking, what are you prepping? What are you getting yourself ready in your preps and your stocks around your house, whatever. I think this conversation is priceless because it needs to be had. This won't be the last one, but thank you for
No.
doing it because
Yeah.
this is what's on a
People
lot of
are
people's
feeling
mind.
uneasy. They're, and they're coming to me like, what are we doing? What do we have prep? I'm like, listen here, I just have stuff. Now, yes, don't recommend. I would recommend if it's food grade. Listen, yeah, you do what works for you. I'm gonna tell you what I have right now for my chickens. I saw Fifi's comment as well. She only uses food grade. Food grade DE. I had to pay for a 3 gallon bucket, and the bucket wasn't full. There was a bag in the bucket. That cost me almost 40 something dollars. The 50-pound bag is 26.49. It's gone up. But on the package, this is from a feed store. On the package, it says all natural food additive, natural DE. There's a picture of a horse. I think it's a dog. I'm trying to zoom in. A dog, a bird, a fowl, and it says Omri, which is over here, some organic, something natural, some labeling for whatever. And that's what I've been using. It doesn't say food grade, it doesn't, but it says livestock, farm, ranch. And I did some research before I used it, and I haven't had an issue. That's what I use in the run, in the coop, in the garden now. I don't buy the food grade. And I dust them off when I need to. And when they're outside in the run, I dust the inside of the egg where the nesting box is. And I haven't had any problem. And it's been over 6 months. But I'm not just using random stuff, but I'm using, it says natural food additive, it says here, but it doesn't say quote unquote food grade. So just go to your stores and read your labels. That's all I can tell you. But I am not following all the advice because I know it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same. It's the same. Just check it out. Let me see
Yeah.
what Jegs is saying. Hold on. Jegs is saying, I only use food grade for the purpose if the family may have to use it. And I only give food grade to my animals. Okay. But do you get food grade, the 50-pound bag at the same price at the feed? Like, is it at the feed store or is this a special purchase? Because the food grade stuff is not at the feed store. It says food additive on the one at my store. It says food additive should be foods. Yeah, that's see the language is very trickified because it doesn't say food grade. The food grade one is costs an arm and a leg, and I'm not even exaggerating. And the amount is so little bit that you have to ration it. Um, food additive is the other one. That's the one I'm using, and it's much more affordable. No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying I don't ingest it. Oh, okay. Well, if it says food additive, this is part of the conversation that you can't recommend the wrong things. I'm not saying that by any means because other people who have no good old common sense and will do foolishness and then blame you. But you have to be conscientious of the labels because these companies are making a mad killing when it's the exact same product. So you have to start to discern, okay, is it the same thing? Read where it was made. Check the address of the manufacturer. Check, ask the supplier, like, where does this come from? What's the ingredient list? I ask sometimes for the ingredient list. I have yet to get an answer from the feed store, from the manufacturer about the ingredients in their chicken feed. But they said to email
You,
them. They're very responsive. They haven't answered me.
because a
That's
lot of
like
this, I'm go
sorry,
ahead, my
okay.
sister. No, go ahead, sis. Go
That's
ahead.
why I had changed the almond milk. because you mentioned about stuff being made in the same place. When I heard that the company we was using, I forgot the name of it, make they use the same line for regular milk. I'm like, well, what's the purpose? If I don't drink regular milk, why are you making my almond milk, running my almond milk
The
on the
same
same
pipes,
line
the same
with the
tubes.
regular
Yep.
milk? That makes
Right,
no sense.
This is what this
right.
is. I'm telling you, when you start to dig deep, you realize this, like, what am I paying for? So my sister stopped buying almond milk. She just makes her own in the
It tastes
blender.
better. When I
It
made it
tastes
that
better,
one
it's
time,
thicker.
it's a whole totally different thing.
I made hemp milk for the first time about 2 weeks ago. Hemp milk, and then I made hemp pumpkin seed milk. I brought it to their house so they can taste it, and they were just drinking off the damn milk like it was a smoothie. I'm like, "Do you mind? I'm giving you a little spoonful." My dad was like, "No, no, no, let me taste it again." You know when they're like, "No," and they act like he doesn't like it, but he's like, "Drink." The whole thing was pretty much gone, and they're like, "You don't need to buy it from the store. Even if you get plant based milk, the thickeners and the emulsifiers in there are garbage, garbage." Manufacturers get tricky with words on product labels, justify different.
Mm.
Exactly. So all I'm saying is become informed for your local area where things are coming from because it may be the same thing. Great value is on the same line as the higher name brand.
Yeah, because
All they
the
do is
Yeah.
higher
slap
name
on a different
brand
box.
just put the stuff in the can and just put great value on it.
And they're saying, "Oh, I want the name brand." No, it's the same product. It's the
Yeah,
same
they
thing.
not making their own stuff. That's
No.
they're not making their own stuff. They just have whoever's already making it put
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
their name on it. That's all. You was talking about the water. I got for the water. What I do with the water is I specifically say what container I'm putting the water in. I say this is gonna be for to wash dishes. Like
Mhm.
I take the like the peanut butter jar, the jelly jar, I wash those out
Mhm.
and I say this is gonna be to wash your hands, to wash the dishes, because
Mhm.
it's the sink water. But if I have to drink it, I'ma filter that puppy and drink
Yes.
it. But I specifically say these waters I'm putting in here is to, to wash dishes with. If I have need water, I specify. And now I bought some of the storage containers, the blue ones,
Mhm.
they
So did I.
the
Yep.
5-gallon ones.
Mhm.
I bought those back in 2020. And from what I learned, this is what I do. I'm not recommending this because that water thing is something you can't
Yeah.
you got to do right. From what I heard, that if the water is already filtered, you didn't need to put anything in it, which I don't really like the idea of putting those drops, even though it's supposed to be to clean the water in the water. So what we do is we don't use the sink water to cook with. We go to Whole Foods and get the osmosis water.
Okay.
And so that's what I put in those jugs.
Yeah.
And I've had them in there since 2020. And we opened one, no odor, no smell. The water was fine. We didn't drink the water, but we were just checking to see if they had
If
like
it's
any kind of
okay.
film,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
once we
Yeah.
opened it up, or if it smelled bad when we opened it
Mm-hmm.
up, and nothing.
That's the
That's what
best
I
way
see
to
people
go.
doing. They're going to Whole Foods or whatever store, and and they bought the big glass drums, which is a expense. But guess what? You don't have to worry about the plastic issue if you're not
Right.
into the plastic,
Mhm.
and they can store it as long as they want to. They buy, they go there once every few months, fill up 3, 4, 5 big jugs. They struggle and carry them to their car, and load up their house, and they're
Those
good for a few
plastics
weeks.
are leaking because they cheap. You see how
Cheap.
flimsy those things
Exactly.
are when you pick
Yeah.
them up? That's why they leaking.
Oh, and that's what Psalm said
This
earlier.
is so like
No, not those. You know
I'm
Urban
talking
Decay.
about like the milk
They look
ones.
like milk
no,
jugs,
they're
right?
all flimsy
Yeah,
because even these back in the day, these were thicker.
yeah.
These
Mm-hmm.
have gotten like a third of the thickness that they used to have. If I drop
Mhm.
this by accident, if I twist my
It's gonna
ankle,
break.
this is gone. The other ones would bounce off the sidewalk. This ain't
Right.
bouncing
Right.
nowhere. This is literally
Right.
snap, water's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy those waters in those milk carton like shaped ones.
Mm-hmm.
Those things
Yeah,
are so flimsy. I
don't do
believe
it.
that's why they leaking.
And you
Yeah.
know what happened to us? We was getting them six at a time at Wally World, like Song was saying. That was just that's me, young prepper, right? You just want to have something for emergency.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
at the bottom of them, right in the seam, after about 3 or 4 months, two of them. The rest of them was okay. I give them that. But two of the 1 gallon jugs of distilled water that we had some distilled water, spring water, right in the seams. You can see where it's kind of like heat pressed together or whatever. Two of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
seams just start leaking, and I didn't have them stacked because I knew putting additional weight on something that could be compressed would
Mm.
already, so I put like light stuff on top of it, like noodles and some of the lighter foods, and they were still leaking with no weight on them or anything. And I know the only way I noticed was I saw the water rings on the box because I still left them inside of
Mhm.
The
the
box.
actual
Yeah.
box because yeah. So when I pulled them out, that's where it was coming from. So yeah,
And this is
I
back to
wouldn't I wouldn't invest in those.
this is back to like, yes, we're gonna still buy water. I'm still gonna have what I need. I have to go check
Mm-hmm.
my cold room to make sure that my stuff isn't leaking. Same problem because you buy stuff, but then you can't get to it because you just packed it so much that you got to
That's how
check
I
and
was
see.
in the
So
apartment.
yeah,
Everything
yeah,
is
because you
stacked
don't want,
up on top of each other, and you don't know. And then when you are looking for something, you got to dig through everything because you don't know what
Mm-hmm.
container
just to find
it's
it.
in, which is crazy. But now
And it goes
the
back to you
problem is,
have to have a current. Sorry, go ahead.
oh
Go
no,
ahead,
I was
Bougie.
going
Sorry
to
to cut
say
you off.
now that I'm in the house, it's not that I have more room. I have more space, but not storage, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to probably get shelves or
Mm-hmm.
something, Yeah. Because you don't want things
Yeah,
out all
so
over the
now I
place.
have to find a place for this stuff that I might have had in the corner in the apartment. I have to figure out because like the I left the beans. I bought the rice in the house, but I left the
Mm.
water and the beans in the garage. So I'm not even sure, how that's gonna work. So I gotta like figure out where in the house to put, the water, the 5 gallon
Everything's going
water
in our
jugs that I
garage, to
have.
be honest. It's going in the back of the garage nearest to the house, not like where it's going to be temperature
Right,
fluctuating. And what we
Mm-hmm.
need is going to be in the house that we're consuming because we can't
right,
keep
right.
like it's just too much, but it's just too much stuff in the house. That's what I'm
Going back.
doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
And I
was
haven't
my
had a
problem in the
problem.
apartment.
I haven't had a problem as long as
Right.
you don't overpack and that's my problem
The
is
floor.
overpack. But
Mhm.
yeah, but I also have to make sure that fine if I have water stored up, but what if that becomes contaminated or no good or it leaks? I need to have other sources of water besides what I'm buying. So I need to have filtration. I need to have something that can filter rainwater, filter the snow, melt the snow, and let that like I need other options because you just don't know. We can't put our assurance on, well, I have a garage full of water. I'm good. Yeah.
Well, you know
Right.
what I heard from a lady? I used to follow her. She was from Venezuela. And she used to come on and tell you like what's going on and
Mm-hmm.
all the different sayings that preppers have and that water thing she said, no bueno. That how
Said
many
no,
gallons per person? She said, nope, that ain't gonna work. It's not enough water.
it's not
And
enough.
like I heard somebody say, you're not gonna be able to store enough water. We don't even realize
Mm-mm.
how much water we really, really use. You
Ooh,
once you
come
get
on.
down to having to use your storage water, you're gonna have to pull back on
Yep.
what you was doing. So your
Yo.
your your preps is not you're not gonna use your preps like you did when everything was just flowing.
Right.
Exactly.
That's not
Right.
gonna work. You're gonna have to start pulling back on how you freely was using electricity. If you got generators, you're not gonna be running everything like you was when you had
Yo.
electricity.
Like brushing your
This,
teeth and running the sink while you're brushing. Then, then
Exactly.
the foolishness is gonna stop.
this what we
And you,
live through.
mhm,
Yeah, I
right,
would look. We literally right now the power is on, the grid is up, so we got the backup system charging.
right, right,
At the moment,
right,
I don't have no
right.
solar set up, but even it's such a habit for us now. You better pull these curtains back and tie them off and let that daylight get in here. And
Exactly. And
when we do use the only thing that's being powered when the power is out is the router. Uh, Maybe our phones or something if they low, which we try to keep them charged when the grid up. All the
Hmm.
backup batteries, all the backup. This is everyday life over here. And with what Bouger said about the water, so the longest we've went is 6 days. 6 days with nothing coming through the pipes. Now this is before we got this 1,000 because we was like some gotta give because these 18 liter and 12.5 liter jugs that we got that we keep in our backup water for dishes, washing your behind, watering plants, and all of that stuff. Just like Bouger said, when you still got the tap running and when you still got the switches that on the wall turning on the lights, it's different from when you don't have it at all. You can think, man, I'm good. I got enough power to last me for a week or this or that. You have to rely on just that straight and see that you only got 3 days worth. When you come to water, you think
Hmm.
you got enough for an extended period of time, but between washing your hands, flushing the toilet, not even after every use, but flushing the
Exactly.
toilet, uh, washing dishes, doing laundry. You use a lot of water on laundry, baby. I'm telling you, in my opinion, I'm agreeing with Bouger 100%.
You're
You
gonna have to be
never
hand washing
have
just the
enough.
armpits and the essentials. That's what we
That's
did.
it.
The
Tops and
essentials
tails,
and the
baby.
rest you gotta just
Tops and tails.
let it
Yeah,
air
that's
out.
it. Yes, ma'am.
It's
when I
too much
hear people
water.
talk about the generators and stuff, the solar generators, and I know people don't understand because I didn't understand when I first was looking at them, and they was like, "Can you power your whole house?" When you don't have no electricity, it's not about your whole house. You're not going to be
Thank
doing the
you.
whole house thing.
Thank
No, you're
you.
going to be doing necessity.
Yeah.
It's going to break down to necessity, not your whole house.
Facts.
You have to
The,
start learning
yes.
to um what's important. Your refrigerator, your deep freezer. That's like the most important thing you need to power. Everything else you need to learn to
And
walk around
maybe,
in the
some
dark.
kind of heat if you're in a, but for the most part, your heat should be non-electric, in my opinion. Your heat should
Facts.
be propane or kerosene, or now we learned about the diesel heater last week from uh Regenerative Wayne and Can't Stop Walking. They have
Be
that
careful with
diesel.
those the
Yeah.
fumes with that stuff
That's what people need to
inside
understand. You
the
have
house.
to crack the window open because it's not just, okay, I'm going to be warm. You have to open a window, a crack, to keep that ventilation flowing. People just
You
say,
know
yeah,
what you could
heat,
Yeah.
do
heat.
for lighting? What I do a lot, get those sensor lighters and some
Mm-hmm.
the one if they run by battery, get the rechargeables because those so that get used well, I have it set up. Well, we used to walking around in the dark.
Hmm.
And you put them, where you walk and stuff. So when you walk by, they automatically come on. So you won't get
Yeah,
used to flicking the switch all the time. Like
right.
I
Mm-hmm.
have to redo my lighting now that we're in here, but in the apartment, wherever you went, a light came on, except for in the living room. We had a night light in the bathroom, so we didn't flick on the light at nighttime. I have a sensor light. If you go in the bathroom, boom, that light comes
I
on.
have that same thing, and honestly, it's much better because it just gives you enough light that you don't bump into something, but it's not,
Exactly.
it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't wake you up
Exactly.
fully, and you're not exactly light. Like, no, enough
Right.
of that.
And in
Enough
the
of that.
And
morning, you shouldn't be using like Africans say, you shouldn't be using no light. You should be
Sunlight.
opening up the
Yep.
curtains and everything and letting the outside light
Light up.
in the
Exactly.
morning.
facts.
Yeah. You shouldn't be
And
turning on no lights at all. It's
none.
like we have to start getting used to doing these things now, not wait until the grid goes
That's what
down
Fifi's
to
saying.
start
Make it
putting
your
to
lifestyle. It's
practicing.
not like you
Right,
know, a experiment on the weekend and you go back to your regular. No, it's part of your daily living. Stop letting the water run while you're brushing your teeth. Get a
Yep.
cup,
right.
get your
I have a
mount,
bad habit of
turn off
doing
the
that. Yeah.
faucet, and
Mm-hmm.
use what you have been allocated for that task.
Even
When
Absolutely.
you're
like
in
in
the
the
shower, you
shower,
have a
that
time
same
limit.
thing. In the shower too, soaking up, turning the water off, soaping up,
Yep. And
turning the
then turn
water
it on
back
when
Mm-hmm.
it's
on,
time to
rinsing
rinse.
off. Mm-hmm.
And I had a hose at my parents' house. They actually wouldn't let me take it with me. They're so rude. I had a hose that had an off button, so that the water was still on, but the hose had an off button. It's for like
Right, right.
orthopedic people, so that I could do that. Rinse off, turn off, soap up, and it's not just running, running, running. And the water bill
Mm-hmm.
was significantly more. Like these are the things you got to do. Buy what you need that's going to help you be more efficient with your resources. Sometimes you got to pay for a
Mm-hmm.
special shower head. You got to pay for whatever you need to pay for, but in the long run, it's going to make you more efficient with your resources. Like you can't
Absolutely.
keep the
Your
shower
prep,
running.
the preps is gonna try to help keep some kind of normalcy while you don't have your regular, the power's not up or
Hmm.
whatever the case is. Try to keep some type of normalcy going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not to say your house is going to be running like when you
I,
had the power and stuff on.
I
No, that's
I
that.
can't.
Yeah, I think you're setting yourself up for failure if you
Facts.
have that kind of mentality.
I can't emphasize that enough. With when it comes to the power, because y'all, we've talked about it. I mean, we're not ashamed of it. Some people kind of mock it. They whatever, why y'all do that, whatever, whatever. This has been one of the best lessons of my life that we've been. Me and April been able. By the way, I forgot to tell y'all. She said, "Hey," earlier, y'all. She up in the
Hey,
front.
April.
Um, is being able to do it together. I've had my rugged times and did some stuff on my own, but we hadn't lived like this or did this as a family. And y'all, it's not always easy. It is not fun. It has to become a lifestyle in order for it to for you to adapt to it where you don't go through a major shock, because it's
Yep. Yep.
disappointing if you
Yeah.
didn't pooped or something or went to the restroom and then you didn't know the water was off but the water off. We have multiple 15 in gallons, I don't know, let's just say 15 12 liter to 15 liter buckets with a spigot on it that we keep in the bathrooms because this
Mhm.
happens so often over here. So, oh, it ain't on, well, I just go to my little bucket and wash my hands over here. Like, we
Yep.
literally living in what some consider, I understand people call it a third world, whatever, but there are no other groups of people more prepared to not have certain luxuries,
Right.
conveniences, and all of that stuff. It's like that for people here in Africa. Many of my Caribbean friends, whether they from Trinidad or Jamaica or wherever, because it's quite a big community over here. Like, they get it. I've learned some stuff from them, and I done taught them some stuff from being from the southern U.S. And but it really is a lifestyle. And real quick, one more thing Bougie said about running your whole house, baby. Stop that. You literally cutting yourself 2 or 3 days short of energy you could be using, unless you got like a $10,000 to $20,000 backup system, which
Yep.
most of us don't have.
Let's
No.
Then
have
you
a
can
whole
run your
house backup system. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right. But
Mm-hmm.
man, you better plug up them iPads. We don't waste our internet. We don't use extra energy off the router. We go back, we pull out one of the old computers, and we'll watch DVDs when the power is down.
I still got my
That's
DVD.
what
I
I
got my
got
Golden
planned to
Girls
do.
series. I got my
That's what
Yep.
I
Matlock.
have. I
I'm good.
I just got to get the DVD player. But when I
Yep.
go
Mm-hmm.
into like General Dollar, them $5 DVDs and stuff, I
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
shuffle through them,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that's what I have planned for us to do.
In
If
case
we
of power.
need,
Yeah.
yeah, like a long term. And that's another thing you have to look at. What are you planning for? What period time are you planning for? And also,
Yeah.
we talking about power. What I've come to realize your generators, what are you going to use it for?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Right.
think you
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
need generators dedicated to certain things. Like
Yeah,
I
you
have
do.
the Jackery 500. We're only going to use that for the cell phones and stuff because it's a small generator.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to just use that for that. I have a 1500 that I don't like because I was gang ho. You know how you watch people when I first started. I was like, yes, I got to get one of those. But come to find out, they never mention when that puppy sits, it loses its power. Who
Hmm.
wants something like that? I don't want
Hmm.
something I'm sitting to use in emergency and I go to use it and it's only at 50%. That's
Mm-hmm.
not good. That's not good to me. If I would have known that, I would never spent the money and got that.
That's
So I
that's the
Facts.
problem I'm having, like buyer's remorse, because you think it was one way, only to find
right,
out that
and then
it's
when you
not what
get
you
it
thought because you didn't have the understanding. You're relying on
right,
somebody else's
right,
research
yeah,
or feedback, and
right,
it was
right,
not what you need. And
and
That's why
then
it's
unfortunately, you're
so
stuck.
important.
yeah, but I got the other brand because the Jackery stays at 100, and the other brand, the other popular brand, I had
The
got
Blue
that
Yeti you're
one.
talking about?
No, I didn't know. I forget the other brand that I got, but that one
EcoFlow.
is yes, the EcoFlow.
Yeah.
I have the
Yeah.
EcoFlow with the attachment, means which each part is 700, so it makes it a 1400 watt. So now
Mm.
what I did was I plugged the deep freezer and the refrigerator into it to see if I could run both of them on that one unit. So that is just dedicated to the refrigerator and the deep freezer
Mm-hmm.
because
Correct.
you don't
Yeah.
want to have your battery for your refrigerator and you plugging everything up into it, you know,
Right.
drawing out the
Right.
energy from
Right.
taking that energy from the refrigerator and the deep freezer.
And you
That's
need that
that's
food to
my
stay
thought
frozen.
on
Yeah,
on that. That's my thought on that.
Yeah, I agree. And
I
and
agree. I think it's better to
it,
have one or a couple because you need your freezer and your fridge to stay, and
Right.
mm-hmm.
then people are not going in and out. Obviously, you just keep that static and let that run on its own
And then
power.
too, yeah, if you got people in the house and people don't know how to, put stuff back the way it was or something like that, if
Mm-hmm.
you just
Hmm.
you won't have them messing with that. They need to go and plug up their phone or something. Go use that battery over there.
Right, right.
Correct.
And back to something y'all said earlier about the diesel. I'm not against that at all. And God bless anybody who can afford it and have that. But from my lived experience, certain things spoil you because of what we talked about previously. If you have enough power to say, I can run my whole house for a 4 day or 3 day situation, guess what most people will be tempted to do? Run their whole house where literally you balled out with
Mm-hmm.
your whole crib on backup for 3 or 4 days when you really could have made those resources last for an entire month if you had used it
Yep.
sparingly. So,
Yep.
like, and like y'all said, the safety issues, cracking windows and doing all that. I'm 40
Hmm.
some years old. Every day I done woke up, the sun been up to. I'm not saying rely solely on solar. I think 50-50 is the best way to go. Have a little bit of everything for
Yes.
sustainability. But even if you can just power maybe some backup comms, some communications, some this or that, man, jackery, whatever, anything that come with solar panels that can keep your phone running and keep you connected to other people, I'd rather have that and some water and all the rest of it. I figured out from there.
Have to really get down to the bare necessities when you thinking about prepping for power outages or whatever you're prepping for, not being able
Mm-hmm.
to go to the supermarket and stuff like that. You have to get
Yes.
it down to the bare necessities. It's not You're not going to be doing the regular stuff, and I think that's going to be an issue for some
I'm
people.
thinking of that song with was it that cartoon Bare Necessities?
Oh yeah, I
Necessity.
know exactly what
I
you're
remember
talking
that.
about.
I was just
That
like,
was
what?
Baloo. That's Baloo singing.
Baloo,
Yeah.
yeah, Baloo.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But it's like we people are getting, as you guys said, there's anxiety in the air, and it's not just here, there, it's everywhere. And a new wave of people are really feeling anxious. And it's just,
Mm-hmm.
triggering more conversations with my family. Like, what are we doing? And I know for a fact I cannot solve all of these problems at once. Like I don't have communication. So it's going to be basically no communication cuz right now
Mm-hmm.
I need to get my dry goods sorted out and water. Once I finish those two, I can go to the next task. It's too difficult to be, oh my God, I don't have this, that.
A
Just
lot.
think
It's a
about it,
lot.
write it down, and make a note. That's my next focus on my preps. I can't do,
Mm-hmm.
no one can do everything at once. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Right.
We see that. And our dollar is not going as far as it used to. I told you I went and had a craving for some Chef Boyardee, and the one can was like $3 and something for one can of what?
Jesus.
I
Jeez.
went somewhere else, it's two something. And the dollar store
Wow.
was about 175. So I went to the dollar store this week and I found these things. Now I don't recommend them because I'm seeing it 69% sodium. I cannot eat stuff like this. This is not good for my health, but in a jam, maybe you can water it down. They have this new thing called fusilli with cheese sauce, and it's made in Italy, which is why I picked it up. It's like an instant pack, like those Knorr thingies, and
Growing
it's
and
a
covering
dollar
up.
75. It's not a bad size. It's 175 grams, ready in 6 minutes. It says, I'm just reading the label, can't guarantee it. No artificial colors, no additives, palm oil free, made in Italy, and it expires March of 2025. After opening, keep remaining portions refrigerated at all times. Blah, 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 blah. Consume in 48 hours. Okay, fine. It's got, instructions. And there's another one here. I got penne with spicy tomato sauce. Same thing. A buck 75. No, not, So you can find stuff, but just be aware the salt content. This is 50% sodium. This is not for the whole package. It's for half a package.
And
So
how do
you
you
have to
make
read the
that?
labels. So if I eat
How
the
do you
whole
make that?
package, how do you make that? It
Mm-hmm.
says bring 450 milliliters of water to a boil in
What
a
you
wide
said?
low
What you gonna need for that?
fire and water.
Water. Yep.
Yep, and heat.
Water. Yeah, baby.
Water. That's the
So
main thing.
maybe you're gonna
Water.
have to measure that in a kettle because you're gonna have to use your energy wisely. Say, okay, I'm gonna boil the kettle and do that instead, but you're gonna have water and you're gonna have heat source. And then
Yeah,
you
but
mix the stuff
the
and
thing is the water. Remember how
exactly.
we said how much water you it's so much stuff you're gonna need water for, and
Yep.
those type of foods you have to be careful with because if you got a whole bunch of that, that's a lot of water just for that right there.
Exactly. So people are buying this stuff, which is great because it is cheap and they're not all made in the red country. But the sodium is ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's not like that's for half the pack. The other one says, yeah, half the package. That's the nutritional content. So the sugar is 9%, sodium is 69% on the other one. That's gonna kill you after a while. But just
For
be
sure.
aware. And you need water. Hey
You need
Miss
water.
AKA, good to see you. Did I miss anybody?
you ever try freezing the eggs? You can also freeze the eggs.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me catch up with I'm done buying extra virgin olive oil. It's now at $10 increase from 6 weeks ago. Prices exactly, and also I need oil. I have to stock up on oil, and I don't use corn oil. I don't use canola. I don't use that stuff for health reasons. So I'm gonna have to get olive and avocado. I wish I knew this freeze dryer.
Mm-hmm.
I could freeze dry eggs because they only cost that too, freeze drying. I That's an excellent way to preserve food, but that's a big investment.
Yeah.
Hey, Ricky Life.
I freeze the eggs right now.
Yeah. So I need to get a deep
Yeah, we
freezer
did
first and
that.
foremost because
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
what
have to.
I have,
We,
the
we
deep
got
freezer. My thing is the deep freezer. Everything like I'm freezing. I don't dehydrate right now, no freeze dryer. So my thing is if I could freeze it, I'm putting it in the freezer.
Yep. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna get the garage cleaned out. I'm working on it this afternoon with my sister and get everything organized, half of it organized, and allocate space for a deep freezer because that's the whole point. that could still help me survive. Um, which oil lasts the longest before going rancid? I have no idea. And to be honest,
You have to rotate.
yeah,
Rotate
use the
your
old
food.
stuff and buy the
Yeah.
new stuff.
Yeah.
Anything that you're
Yep.
getting, rotate it. Don't leave it to stuff like that. Don't leave those
Right.
things to sit. Rotate it. Buy extra, but rotate it so that nothing goes rancid. That stuff like that.
They're asking how do you freeze
Facts.
eggs? I think you put them in an
Um,
ice tray, right? You crack the egg, you put them in an
I
ice
use
tray.
you know which ones are good.
I
The
use
if you could,
silicone.
Silicone, yes,
yeah,
silicone.
without the
Yeah.
you could get the ones that don't have the what is that, the BP something.
BPA, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yeah.
freeze
Mm-hmm.
them in those trays and then you pop them out and
Mm-hmm.
put them in a container
Make
or a
sure you
Ziploc
put the
bag,
silicone on top of a tray. Don't make that mistake I did.
and it leaks and it tips over in the freezer.
Yeah, when you're trying to
Yeah,
pick it up. So put the
Right.
silicone on top of a flat
tray.
tray. Put the
Put it
eggs
in the
in, and you
freezer.
can even separate it. So in case you want
Whites and
just
yolks
the
separately.
whites, yeah, you could do that
Yeah.
also. And then this way, when it freezes, you could just push it, pop them out. And I just put
And I've seen
mine in
people
a
cook them and they said it
Ziploc
tastes
bag.
fine. They said it tastes fine when
Yeah.
you cook them way
It
after.
Mm-hmm.
it tastes fine.
So
We did
yeah,
that back in the States. We had we ordered a 40, I think no, actually it was like 42. We ordered a couple dozen of the silicone muffin things, like
Mm-hmm.
the little round thing you make muffins in, and you could get two or three eggs if you wanted to in each one. So some we put two, some we put three, and we froze them, and then we popped them out, put them in plastic bags, like however many
yeah,
each,
yeah.
and they were fine. The taste was fine. You just kind of put them in the fridge, let them thaw for a while, and when you get ready to cook them, it's just like a fresh egg.
Just like, so those of you who have chickens and you have excess in the summer and spring, that's what you people do. They be freezing them and then they have enough for the winter. And then they get new birds or they
Mm-hmm.
hatch out new birds if you're, a homesteader, and you get younger birds and you keep doing that. What's the longest you
Yeah.
can keep eggs in the freezer? I've seen people
I don't
what,
know.
18 2 years, as
You
long as
gotta look
needed.
at mine. Mine should be about no, mine should be is mine almost a year old? I gotta go look and see if I put the date on it. Jones, the
Mm-hmm.
next time I see you in the chat, I'll let you know how long I had mine in the freezer.
Thank you, Juicing with
Okay.
Jay. Thanks for the super sticker.
Shout out Jay. What's up, everybody in the chat that I
I need some
didn't
I need
speak
some
to? If I
commercials. I need
missed
some money in the chat,
He
like
said, what
unbiased.
about I know, right? What about good old Crisco? I mean, prep whatever you feel is the best for you and your
Yeah,
family
correct.
when things go. Because when you ask other people what to do, to me, those people is not going to be there to help you do absolutely nothing.
nothing.
And take that to the bank.
Nothing.
That's a guarantee. They ain't gonna be nowhere
Facts.
in
So
sight.
make sure whatever you decide to do, you can handle it, and it's going to
Facts.
make you have a sense of normalcy when the time comes. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever is best for you, and you feel that if I cannot go to the store, I want to make sure I have this in the house, get it.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Darren
And
saying put raw potatoes in your food to suck up the salt. That's a good tip because exactly to suck up the salt when I'm making these salty things.
yeah.
I don't use
Mm,
To,
Crisco
okay.
and lard. I'm going to be buying ghee and I'm going to be making my own ghee
That's
and
what I want
canning
to
it.
get,
That's
ghee.
what I'm going to be
I
doing.
want to get some stock up on
Clarified
some
butter or
ghee.
actual butter. I know Mrs. H did some canning of butter and it's not in the book. It's not like, FDA approved, but I'm going to be doing that.
mm-hmm.
I ain't
Hey,
using lard and
Mr.
Hey,
what
I,
J.
what's in that stuff? What's it even made out of? I'll get animal tallow
well,
before I eat that foolishness. I'm not doing it.
something else that Urban said earlier. This is my opinion. Like you said, sis, you were talking to friends and talking to family, like y'all had a little family powwow. That's one of the best things that can happen. Because just like we sitting here having this deep, not too deep, we just sharing thoughts and opinion, but we having a really decent conversation, in my opinion. Have that with your friends, have that with your family, have it with people in your circle. Because at the end of the day, I want to know how you feel about me. I want to know if you think what I'm doing is silly to you. I want you to give me your honest opinion. If you think me having these chickens and this backup fresh drinking water and this flour and this sugar and this corn sitting in a corner somewhere, if that's silly to you, Keep that same energy. So when you ain't got none and I got it, I already know how you really feel, baby. It ain't
Yep.
no
Yep.
misunderstandings and
Yep.
no
Yep.
gaps
Yep.
in between.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
one more thing that people forget about, when it's a SHTF, the word, it don't have to be a media headed towards Earth people. It don't have to be some cataclysmic thing, man. How
No,
about we
no.
already at a point where people, you how earlier Bougie brought up a woman from Venezuela. I think I done seen that woman before, but let's look at inflation in Venezuela. Why people act like it's impossible for you just not to be able to afford something one day that's still sitting on the shelf, that's still right
My
there.
thing.
Hello.
I
Come
think
on,
it's
man.
not that we're not going to have anything. Are you going to be able to buy that puppy?
That you
That
got it
part.
exactly right, and that's what Bougie had kind of brought up. A few I think it's been maybe 2 years now. It's been that long, because you're like, there's no food shortage, and there wasn't. There's not a
No,
Mm-hmm.
food shortage. It's how you
Mm-mm.
look at it.
no.
It's definitely manufactured. There's help
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
making the food short.
It's a
But the real
mental. It's
issue
a
is
mental. It's to make you
you
have
can't
a
afford it.
shortage in your mentality. A
Yes.
shortage in your
Exactly.
You're not
mentality.
gonna be
Not
able to
that.
afford it. So those of you think rice is expensive now, you go spend your little $20-$40 and go buy your, big huge bags of rice from the wholesale place and you fill your buckets. Because guess what? 6 months to a year
Yes.
from now, that same bag gonna be even double the price. But at least you can eat for another
Exactly.
year. It's not even about
Exactly.
a
Juicing with Jay
hurricane or a
said.
tornado. Yeah, you
Right.
see what
Juicing
Juicy
with
J
Jay
said?
said
Begging
they
for
called
okra.
him crazy. Tell him you gonna be crazy ready, Jay.
Exactly. Exactly. And I was looking at a restaurant owner. Shout out to all my Jamaicans out there. I was looking at a something the other day, a restaurant owner. In the past 2 years, oxtail done went up 300%. 300%. And that led me to another video out of Houston. Shout out all my Texans out there. A grocery store down there in Houston, 3 pound bag of oxtails, $34. And this used to be poor people food.
Poor
It's
people
a
food.
mind
Yep.
thing. It don't have to be this. It don't have to be this way. Inflation is real. Prices are real. And if you're not really putting in consideration, again, I'm in my last time saying, where something can still be there and you just can't afford it. That's just as much as important in prepping as these worst case scenarios that people got in their head. Is really being super practical. Actually, you saying, all you doing is saying, I'm gonna invest in myself while this product is still affordable to me
Right.
as a consumer.
Exactly.
That's
Correct.
half
Correct.
Exactly.
of it.
Exactly.
Jay
Yep.
was saying,
Exactly.
just what Jay was saying that people were asking him for okra, and they said compulse some weeds. People but they don't want to put in the work, and that's what
Hmm.
we got to filter out as
Mm-hmm.
well, because they're gonna be coming and
You
knocking
know,
on you. Hey, Bougie. Hey, Jay. Can I have some of your stuff? When you've been
Nope.
I
working for
found out
months and years,
Mr. Bammett is close by me. I'm willing to go help people with their garden.
That's what's
I'm
up.
hello,
willing to do that. I'm
that's
willing
a good
because if
connection.
something happened, I have a connection with somebody
Hello,
where I'm putting in for my bartering already.
that's what you got to do. And say,
Mm-hmm.
sir, I'm gonna come drop the seeds. I'm gonna come do the weeds, and I'll take care of this,
Exactly.
every so
Bring
often.
wait,
And then you
bring my
get
crew right with
produce.
me. I'm coming with a crew.
There you
Yep,
go.
and get your produce and stuff. That's what you got to do. But if they're not willing to put in the work, they can't be part of the crew. And they think
Yep.
because they're your family or friends, oh, I'm in the crew. Oh no, there's requirements.
And my
Build your
thing, like
Mm-hmm.
Jay
connection.
said, if I'm telling you something or you see I'm doing something and you decided it wasn't worth for you to do or it wasn't worth for me for you to listen to me, keep that same energy
Mm-hmm.
when stuff
Yep.
happen. Don't decide to listen to me now cuz now it's too late. Because to me, even if you didn't
Exactly.
fully understand or believe what I was doing, you could have still said, well, you know what? Here's something to help put some stuff aside.
Right.
Yep.
I would even accept that.
Yep.
You still participating. But for
Something.
you not
Yeah.
to do nothing, like somebody told me, if I know if something happened, I know where to go. No, you don't. No, you do not.
No,
Take
you
my name
do
off the
not.
damn list.
No, you do not. Because if you think I'm taking anything out of my kid's mouth for you, you
Wrong.
no, you do not.
Wrong, wrong, wrong.
Or like I told you in the apartment, I used to clean out the jars and the soda bottles and put
Yeah.
water in it, and I had them up on top of the cabinet. That's where I had put them up there. And they looked up there talking about, I wouldn't drink that water. Who said you was gonna get any to drink?
Exactly.
Nobody asked
Exactly.
you.
Facts.
Who said I was putting that water up there for you? And I bet you if you had to drink it and you ain't had no other choice, you would drink it.
You know
I
what?
know
And
I
that,
am. If
I
I
see.
that's what I have to drink, I'm gonna drink it. The nerve of you.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a certain undertone of not only the nerve but the arrogance. And I'm gonna say this, even with some of the poorest people back home, because the homeless population is growing in the US at an exponential rate.
Over
I'm
here
still
too.
gonna say that
Hmm.
there are people who have never had I know what true hunger pains are, unfortunately. And it wasn't a consistent thing in my life, but as a child I went through periods where I done kind of been a little bit hungry, this and that. I'm saying all that to say you can tell when people have never really had true lack, because I have relatives right now in this Saturday in 2023 would rather have, and I ain't gonna do this on Urban Channel, a name brand. I ain't gonna name no specific brands. Would
Hmm.
rather have a name brand belt and walk around in a
Mm,
mall with it
mm.
on than go buy some solar panels. No matter how
Right.
much, how many of my videos they watch, no matter what I
Okay.
talk about, I'm the crazy cousin. I'm the crazy relative.
Okay.
Okay, okay. But when we
You
get
know
back
what I
to
tell them, Jay? I hope them $100 sneakers taste good.
I know
Hmm.
that. Yeah, we eating two different cows over here, baby. I hope they taste good to you. You got leather, I got steak. Let's get it.
Or goat.
Oh, you know it's gonna be some goat, girl.
My aunt is here. She's been here for I don't know 2 weeks now, but we're talking because we've been telling her for years to get a garden. There are certain things, especially if you're living in Jamaica, that you should not ever have to go to the market to buy. That includes, your time, your green onions, your basic ginger, certain things like just plant them. There's no reason. All I hear is, oh, there's bugs eating the plants and all these problems that they're having. My other friend
Hmm.
came back from a vacation from there and they told me how much things are costing in Jamaica. Like $30 Canadian can't get you hardly nothing over there right now.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
said to her again, I'm like, it's going to come to a point where you can't even feed yourself. And it's closer
Hmm.
for you than it is for me over here because we can still feed ourselves. She's here shopping and she can see she was here in 2019. She can see that the money's not going as far. She herself can see it over here. So all the support that we get from overseas, it's getting a little smaller now. So I told her, you're going to be able to not even maybe feed yourself and the family over there. You're going to have to get your elbow to the wheel and start planting some stuff. Take some seed and tomatoes, lettuce, basic stuff that you can at least have a salad.
Hmm.
You can't
Yep.
be going to it's unaffordable. I'm telling you, to fill the tank of gas is ridiculous over there. A loaf of bread was almost like maybe $5-10 US. It was like you
They get the $5. We making our own bread because that's ridiculous.
so and
That's
then they don't.
crazy.
And it's different, I don't know if they even have a flour mill over there, but I'm like, you have to figure out something because this is not working. What you're doing is not working. She's shipping a barrel down. I'm like, what's the point? To go
Yeah.
ship a barrel down costs so much more than it did before that I can actually say now that it's not even advantageous. Just take the money and go and buy what you can down there. I
It
don't see
it's
like,
the
and I always ship a
yeah.
barrel. I always for that, but now I'm like,
It's the
I
same
don't
over
think it's
here,
worth it.
fam. Urban, you know how it is when you have friends and people who maybe go to more Western countries, Canada, US, UK, whatever, and that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, shipping a barrel that was more practical. the goods had a greater value wherever their
Yeah.
destination was, so on and so forth. Over here, I never would have thought. We've been here for a minute now, a couple years. Baby, when I tell you I never would have thought in my life that I would have seen some of the stuff double in price that I've seen double in price, it's crazy. It is insane. And then the fact that the fuel prices have went up so much, everything is shipped by, guess what, fuel. Whether you got
Mm-hmm.
diesel or whether you got
Mm-hmm.
gasoline, it's some form of petrol. If petrol prices go up, it is a direct indicator to everything else because of shipping. That's for long distance, that's for local, that's for everything. So a lot of people over
Too,
here
as
tripping
long
on
as
it.
sorry, Jay. And two, what
No, go
you
ahead.
just you mentioned inflation, and as long as they keep that printing press going with the dollars, that causes inflation also.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
So a lot of people are seeing that their dollar is not going as far, and the support
Mm-hmm.
that they used to give to people, back home, they can't do that anymore to the same level because the problem with having people back home is that they don't understand the value of a dollar. We made it look like it just grows on trees, and they believe like the marketing and the TV programs and all the different stuff, and they don't understand that you have to
Mm-hmm.
work an 8-hour shift just to make enough to pay your rent, pay your cell phone, and all these things, and support you, and for you to go and squander it on foolishness. Eh, so the fountain is turning
Yeah.
off a little at a time, and they're seeing that the money's not flowing as easily. It's like, no, what do you need it for? What are you buying? What do all these
You know what
questions.
Right.
I think the mentality over here in the States is because nothing never happened here. And they have the mentality as people always saying something's gonna happen and it never happened.
Right.
So
Right.
people feel that
Right.
but like Jay said, we're not talking about no doomsday
No.
type thing, no Mad Max type of thing. Look at what happened in Texas. We talking
Yeah.
about simple, like Jay said, simple weather stuff.
Yes.
Look what happened to
Yeah.
them. And then
Oh,
this
It's real.
mind-boggling to me is people don't know how to keep warm. People are literally killing themselves to keep warm. That is so mind-boggling to me. I'm not understanding it. That you don't know. Put on a hat
It's a
on
real
your
thing.
head. Put on, like layer up. I'm not
something.
saying
Yeah.
I know well
Little
because
stuff like that. No,
yeah, or turning
no,
off.
I was gonna say, sis,
Go ahead.
when that happened in Texas, and it did impact a lot of people I know and family. Do y'all know having two of them little cheap dollar store emergency candles can be the difference between 15 to 20 degrees inside of a room that's 8 by 8? Just two of them candles burning. Little stuff like that can literally be life saving. I know a whole bunch of folk out there think that I'm country for real. I'm from East Texas, man. I'm everybody in Texas has some major urban areas. Dallas Fort Worth area, San Antonio area, Houston area, even Lufkin, some of the smaller, more urban areas. Baby, everybody ain't kicking tumbleweeds and riding horses and stuff. It's really people who just live a completely urban lifestyle, and they could be born and raised in Texas, but all of that
Both of
survival
us.
and country living done miss them altogether. They don't know nothing about it.
It's unfortunate, but this is what the state that we're in. And like to hear Bougie say she has rice from she finished a 2020 rice or 2021 rice, and now she's using the other bucket. How much would that rice be worth right now to sell that rice? Like, we have to
Exactly.
understand that inflation is not even about like these apocalyptic. Exactly, it's just about basic inflation, and they're pricing us out of the market. They want us poor, starving, and dependent on rations. We got to be ahead of the game. She's eating rice from 2 3 years ago, and the rice is fine, and she's sitting there chilling and eating her your 4-year-old rice, but she paid a lot less for that same bag of rice. So that was a good investment. What are we doing? We need to stop, trying to be these massive preppers with these big grandiose ideas and just go to the basics. Just worry about your
Go
food
down
right
to the
now and your
basics.
water, and
Yeah.
then take it up from there. Spend the money that you think you don't have and be surprised you do have it. And buy a bucket
Yes.
of rice. Get the buckets, get the lids, the bay leaf for now. And if you want to get some food grade DE, by all means, but get the rice, get the
And then
cornmeal,
the
and
dollar 25 cent store, you could get the little bags of rice in there.
whatever
Mm-hmm.
you gotta
If you
do.
can't
Mm-hmm.
buy the 25 pound bag of rice, get a couple of those. I mean, I did a lot of budget things where you only had 25. Sometimes you only need like
I remember
$25
those.
because that will force you to only get
Yep.
necessities. That's what I learned from doing those challenges. And
Yeah,
then I
those
had to
shopping
go.
hauls.
I know, and my name is bougie, but I try to act like I'm not. But I had to go into Dollar General and do those. And I'm like, who is eating this food? I remember Urban left because I said that in the video, and Urban said yes. Who is it? And when you look, like, I'm a big thing, like Urban said, with the sodium, and you look on the back of them cans and they talking about 900. I'm like, ain't no way I am buying this.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
not
Right.
buying this. This is like a can of salt. That's all
pretty
this
much.
Basically.
Pretty much.
is a can of salt. It was
Basically.
very hard for me to even buy food out of there. It was very,
Mm-hmm.
because you got to think of if we have any the nutritional value of what you get, and not just looking at it as it's just food. It's just we eat a certain way, so I have to prep that kind of food. I'm not gonna just buy anything, but just having that $25 made me hone into, you know, necessity, instead of
Mm-hmm.
just having a whole
Mm-hmm.
bunch of money and I'm just picking up this and picking up that and picking up this and picking up that. It really makes you
Right.
focus on what you really. If this is the only $25 I had to go in the store, what am I going to get?
Right. I remember those videos you did, sis, and I'm gonna say that as somebody who done ate 2 and 3 year old MREs, not by choice. I'm telling you, when this is part of the luxury in it, because I remember when Bougie was doing those videos, and you got the option to prepare yourself for your lifestyle, your family lifestyle, the way you do. That's why it's so important to do it now, because if you literally wait until the last minute, you're gonna be eating canned this and canned that and
Mm-hmm.
everything.
You're
You
going to
ain't
be
got
eating
no
a
garden.
can of salt.
You
Yep,
a can of something, because you don't have no choice. And then you in a dire
exactly.
situation and your ankles done swole up. You sitting around with edema and your heart pounding, and you in a stressful situation already. You might well go and fart and kill over. Just set yourself up for better circumstances. Is all I'm saying.
Hmm.
I'm telling you. And as what happened with the pandemic, it comes so suddenly, you don't have time. So we have to take into account that we got the time now to get some things in order. When they have the alarm sounding and shut whatever they're gonna do, you don't got time to be scrambling then
Mm-hmm.
and fighting with people over toilet paper and elbowing people in their eye and getting in riots. You don't want to be in that crowd. It's
That's
dangerous.
what your prepping is
You don't.
is you avoiding you from panicking, and then avoiding you from going out there
Mm-hmm.
and being in that foolishness with people fighting over the last case of water, or even just standing on the long lines just to get in the store to get
Hmm.
anything. You could just sit back with your popcorn and watch the circus
Watch
show.
the show. Yeah.
Exactly.
don't don't like, I can't stress it enough, don't be in that situation, because you're not gonna have time. When everyone starts to get the alert, they're all gonna be at the store at the same time. I've been there, and I had to put my 4 items down and
Mm-hmm.
leave. It wasn't worth me lining up for 5 hours for 4 items. I said, you know what, Lord,
Exactly.
whatever I have is what I have in my house. Thank God I had something in my house to eat, because I always keep extra. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
worth the moderation, the frustration, people getting upset, people want to, then you get into right. It's not worth it. Get your stuff, and if you got children and elderly people, Now is your time to get your affairs in order because the
Yes,
inflation, I'm telling you, we've been talking about it
absolutely.
for over a year. If Chef Boyardee is costing $3 and something cents for one can of food, and it's not even food, I
That's
use the word
crazy.
food loosely. It's getting bad in these streets. This piece of something you buy is basically
Yeah.
a bag of salt with some carbohydrates for a buck 75.
Yep.
It
Yep.
doesn't negate from growing
Yep.
your food
Yep.
and planting even indoors. Get your fresh food game up because this can't sustain you. You're right. You're gonna get emphysema, lymphedema,
Yeah.
and all kind of something. Not
All
worth it,
kinds of
guys.
stuff.
I used to eating a can of salt every day. That's not what you was doing.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And even when it come to stuff like MREs, which is packed chock full of carbohydrates, and the sodium level is insane, and all the preservatives because it's got a shelf life of infinity almost. Here's the thing. Oh, by the way, if Urban don't mind me saying it, man, happy Veterans Day. Shout out to all the people who served
Yeah, I
in
got my poppy.
just happy Veterans Day. Much love to y'all. But those are 1,000 calories. Oh, I'm sorry, sis. Go ahead.
No, just saying I got my poppy. So happy Remembrance Day to all those veterans around the world. Enough respect for your
Absolutely.
service.
Thank you, my sister. But we talking about a couple thousand calories per pack, bruh. That's for people who that might be the only thing they eat that day, and they constantly moving and shaking and burning off those calories, doing
Mhm.
stuff that you not doing when you trying to keep a low profile inside, being mostly quiet, being secluded. Those two different types of necessities right there, so keep that in mind too, even with some of these uh MREs, not military style or grade or whatever, but they all the same thing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those are for when you go out hunting, or you doing some really exhaustive kind of calorie burning activities. In my opinion, that is not. Have a garden if you can. I'll put it like that.
Definitely.
Have a garden, or have something preserved or put back if at all possible.
And keep moving. We talk about food and stuff, but prep your body too. Keep moving.
Amen. Your
Keep
body is your biggest
moving.
prep. Your health.
Yeah. Do
Yes,
some
yes.
extra movement because I was watching the Virginia bushcrafter process some wood. I said,
Mm-hmm.
boy, if we had to go out in the woods and cut some wood,
Yeah,
Cut
some of
what?
us gonna be
yeah.
starving
I'd
and
have been
cold.
sweating buckets after the first chop.
Because
I would have had
he
my
was
hands
sweating
vibrating like
buckets.
Elmer Fudd. No, Star, I can't do that.
He
Can't
he
do
was
that.
sweating bullets.
Yep.
I
Yep.
said, boy, I said, this is something.
Good morning,
We
Vivian. Good
not
morning,
even
AR Patriot.
understanding that if we had to go back to our ancestors' time when everything was done, they did they self, even chopping wood. If we had to chop some wood today, oh my goodness.
Let me tell you, I couldn't hammer a nail into a piece of wood.
It's real.
Okay, that's what I got the rude awakening. I thought, oh, that's no big deal. I had to hammer one little thing, and I was hammering, and it wasn't moving. And I was gonna cry. I said, "This is embarrassing." And I said, "You know what? When I have to go pay for labor, I'm not gonna complain about the price because this was not working. My hand was vibrating. I could feel the tremors from the striking, and I was missing the nail. And I was like, "This is ridiculous." I'm like, it wasn't going. I'm like, man, listen. You think you're bad? You're not bad. You think you're bad.
It's real out there.
Do some
It's
physical labor. You're
real.
gonna soon
It's
find
Mhm.
out. Oh, hmm, okay.
But
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get out there with him one day. My thing, he loves bushcrafting, but my thing is I just want to know the skills. I'm not like I don't try to pretend nothing. I'm not going out in nobody woods. No, not happening. I ain't
It's
trying to
not as
fake like
easy. It's not as easy as it looks. Let me assure you. Like he has to respect, the craft because yeah, it's not easy.
it's
Yes.
no.
We think, oh, I can do
It's
that in
not.
5 seconds. That's no big
And
deal. Oh, I can do that. Yeah, right. Go do it then. Go
Yeah,
do it then.
okay.
I dare you. I
and
dare you.
and I it's the other stuff that other people don't even think about. That's why Bougie done said that to me before, and that's one reason why I respect my sister, both of y'all. But in this case, Bougie, because she know her element, she know gonna thrive at and how she gonna make it work. Now y'all just heard her say she still want to acquire the skill, but the truth is I done been out hunting plenty of times. I can navigate my way through the woods pretty good. Y'all know what was always on the back of my mind when I'm out hunting or just out there just walking around. Ticks. People don't think about
Yes.
all of look,
Yes.
man,
Yep.
ticks, bro.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When you sitting down in a stack of pine needles or you leaning up against a tree, I done bit by all kinds of stuff. I've been bitten. I done had
Exactly.
stuff crawling on me. Uh,
Exactly.
I got locks that I got to tie up now before I'm out there because I gotta have them wrapped up real good because I don't want nothing.
You
Crawling up
know,
You
through
know what I'm
there.
saying? I don't want nothing
exactly.
living in my
They
head.
they
Yeah, it's
bypass
all kinds of
all of that, and they talking about that. What is it? Bugging out. When I first heard it, I was like,
yeah.
"But what are we doing? What are we doing?" Because I kept hearing it, but nobody is. I never heard nobody explain it when I first
What's up,
started. You
Vision?
keep hearing the bugging out. Hey, Grand
Mm-hmm.
Rising Vision. Um, but when I heard where they were bugging out to, I said absolutely not.
Hell no.
In the woods?
Hmm.
That's the best
If
y'all
you
could
ain't
have
never
came up with?
it,
Do y'all know all the stuff that's out there that you got to deal with? And I
That's the
said,
point.
why could it
I-
not be if I have to leave my house? Why can I not find another place that might be better suited, excuse me, for
Hey,
me to be
ARD.
in where I could probably fix it
mm-hmm.
up to stay in? Why do I need to go all these building structures we have here in the States? Why would I need to go to the woods? Somebody please explain this.
Because the people be the problem half the time, right? These
And
two-legged
see
beasts are more dangerous than the four-legged
was
ones.
and that's what
Except for the chickens. They got
that
two
part
legs, but
and something else me and Boot but we love chickens. Chicken's delicious. But
mhm.
this something me and urban not urban me and Bougie done talked about before too. That's the difference between being prepped and mind ready for urban survival versus rural survival. I'm more apt, and I done told Bougie this. I'm more adapted to rural survival than I am urban survival. I think Bougie gonna be just fine if she had a 10-story apartment building. Her and her family run the whole thing, at least the first 6 floors. For me, I need to be out there in that country, but I'm looking out for black widows. I'm looking out for ticks. I'm looking out for um it usually don't happen to the bobcats, but some of these coyotes and stuff, man, they have rabies and stuff. It's so much stuff you got to think about because you out hunting something and you would never think that a wild coyote who done got rabies is out of his doggone mind would just
Yep.
run up on you and try to get them calf muscles or them ankles or something and just bite you. You don't want to have rabies, people.
No,
That
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
no.
What's up, Vision? I'm sorry, y'all. Go
Good
ahead.
morning.
Fifi
Just
said something that was good here. That's always a conversation amongst the preppers is where did she say what if you have to run from the comfort of your home into the woods?
oh, I mean Fifi, that's this one here? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, uh, personally, that if you are in a suburban area, the woods is the last place you want to have to go to. First of all, that's why we talk about have your plan A, B, and C, D, E, do the whole alphabet. Somewhere else you can go, because if you're leaving the suburbs or the city and you go to the woods, first of all, you're out of your element. More
Thank
than
you.
likely, more than likely, I'm not saying you would, but you may not have everything you need to survive in the woods.
Mhm.
And thirdly, you're not going to be the only one out there.
That too. Yep.
And like
Hmm.
African Dreaming said, if you live in the city and you're in a 10-story building or apartment or whatever, lock down your floor, lock down the floor
Yep.
above you,
Yep.
lock down the floor
Yep.
below you, and handle your business. Yeah. But, the last resort would be the woods. And now you just became a refugee.
Yeah, exactly. People want to
Yeah.
do all these grandiose things and they don't even know how to start a fire. Keep your butt at home.
Exactly,
I'm keeping
Urban.
my butt right here in my backyard where I know what's going on.
Correct.
I'm not going in the woods.
I mean,
Right.
I said like I said, I'm gonna go to where I know I can survive. I know
Yeah.
I'm not equipped to go into the woods. The only thing I want to go into the woods, like I said, that bushcrafting, learn how to cut down a dead tree and process that wood. That's the only thing I'm going in that woods for. That is it.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
think a
And
lot
maybe
of that
and maybe
depends on where
foraging.
you live. I think a lot of that depends on where you live. I think in some cases you might need to learn how to survive in the woods because where you are may not dictate you staying there, and you have to your
We have
environment
so
where
many
you are.
shelters. I believe that all these buildings we have, you shouldn't have to literally go into the woods. You should be, if your house is not livable, I'm quite sure you can find another place that is livable where you could go in and fortify yourself in that building. That would be my plan. I'm saying that would be my plan.
Well,
People, we don't
the
have the
one thing
skills.
the one
We
thing
don't
we
have the
leaving off.
skills for the woods.
No, I'm just saying as a backup
You
plan.
know what? And this is where Miss Jones. Hey, Miss Jones,
Miss
Truth, how you doing?
I'm
Jones,
doing
good
fine.
morning.
How are you all?
If I could just jump in real quick, I just think the one thing we missing is point of origin. See,
Yep.
because Bouger point of origin is already in the urban environment. My point of origin, where I am now, and even when I get back to Texas, is already gonna be in the woods. Now, if I got to go into the city and maybe take something, or I'm sorry, excuse me, acquire something, some
There you go.
necessary goods, then
Right.
I'll do that. But we saying the same thing. We just saying it from points of origin, which is so sorry, y'all, which is so incredibly
Hmm.
important because if SHTF, I'm not finna run to downtown. I mean, I ain't saying Bougie downtown, but I'm not finna run into the city because I'm already in the country. And Bougie ain't finna run to the country if she already in the city and you've established and built yourself up there. We just gonna kind of take it from there. So I hear everybody saying the same thing from two different
Right.
places,
I'm just
if
gonna
that
cut
makes
in for
sense.
1 second because I missed the time, but it's 11:11, so we're gonna have a minute of silence. So I'll turn off my camera and I'll put it back on when the minute is finished. Okay, we'll just do the minute of silence. Okay, thank you. Okay, we can continue with the conversation. Just want to give the
The woods
respect to
thing,
the
if
veterans.
that's your
Thank you,
plan to
sister.
go out in the woods, please make sure that you have everything you need, your shelter, your whatever else you may need to be in the bush
Hmm.
as And here he popped up, the
Stocking
Virginia
up on
bush
everything that
captain
I
would
feel
say.
is needed. Good morning,
Yep.
Virginia.
Grand
Let me see what
Rising,
What's going
VB.
on?
Good
AR
morning.
saying. Woods equal water and equals fire survival. Most people will get lost in the woods and don't know how to use a compass.
True,
Yeah, you got that right.
true.
Yep. Those
They
Make
those
don't know
sure
how to
you
use a
know
people.
how to
compass.
read a compass, like vision. What would be some of the things that people, if that's going to be one of your plans, your plan B, C, or whatever, what things would they need to make sure that they have if they're going to go out into the bush?
Well, if you're going into the woods, you better take everything. Meaning, first of all, water,
Hmm.
food, shelter, and protection. Those are the top four things you're going to need if you're going out. If you have to leave and go to the woods, have some idea of where you're going, what woods, what's resources are out there, so that if there's a stream, make sure you have stuff with you that you can purify water, boil water, cook with, make a fire, shelter, and protection if you encounter other people while you're out there. And it's not
Right.
going to be camping. You're in survival mode now. So your mental your mental preparedness is what's going to be key. If you don't
Hmm.
have the mental preparedness, I don't care how much gear you got with you, you're not going to make it.
No.
And make sure you
So
know how
can I add something to that?
to process wood and build a fire and keep it
Right.
going.
Yep.
And
Go ahead,
keep
Jay.
it going. And can I add something to that? When Vision when Vision out there and he walking through, like just taking walks. They ain't no fat, it ain't a ruck pace or nothing like that.
Right.
Baby, you carry a pack. You carry a 25-pound assault pack for about 5-6 miles, them shoulders start feeling it. It get
Yeah, they
heavy.
do.
It wasn't heavy when you put it on. It get heavy. The ability to carry weight over
While you're
rough
walking.
terrain is
Hmm.
Yep.
very different. Yeah, it's very different from just getting off work in the office all day. And add to that, we in survival mode now, right? So this ain't like CrossFit. You can beat
Right.
a tire with a sledgehammer all day for fun. But when you trying to catch a doggone squirrel, or when you trying to get a fire started and it's damp outside, that's a whole nother kind of frustration you living through.
Hmm.
These are the
Yeah.
realities that people don't talk about enough. It's all one
Exactly.
one of the down, and I'm gonna
Exactly.
shut up, y'all. One of the downsides, there are certain elements of survival and preparedness that have started to make this not media driven, but almost like not fun. For lack of a better term, it's almost more entertaining than what it's like when you really have to do it.
Right.
So,
Right.
uh,
Right. It's
yeah,
real
just
world
keep that in mind
situation.
too.
May I say, that's one reason why I'm working, because I want to attend one of Vision's bug out weekends. Because now my husband, I mean, he was raised so deep in the country. They've spent most of their life prepping, doing everything that needs to be done to survive,
Hmm.
and stuff. Me, I was city raised. Okay, I'm a little soft, and we've always had each other's back, and I would
Right.
rather get the experience of a bug out weekend, because I don't want to be the crazy female running through this woods screaming at the top of my lungs and don't know what I'm doing the first time something jump out. I
Right.
want to be prepared, and I'm
Hmm.
willing to go through that, and it's worth it. And even if you live in the city, I think you should at least experience a bug out weekend one time. I would rather, it's to me, it's like being prepared. I would rather know it and never need it than need it and don't know it.
No, that's
Yep.
right. Yep.
So that's why
Yep.
Yeah,
one of my
yeah.
plans is to attend one of those. I would rather have that exposure, have that knowledge. And if I never use it, great. But at least I have it, and then I can pass it on to my children and so forth and so on. So,
Right.
because I've seen too many movies where people running through the woods, scared to death, can't think, just screaming, and they lose their life. I don't want to be that person.
Some of us are talking about bugging out into the woods, but we haven't even checked our local community. We don't even know what's going on in our local terrain. Like we've gone
Correct.
so far over there. It's like, how about going around your blocks and
Yep.
seeing what's around you? Because all
And
I
Exactly.
see is
Yeah.
tents and
Yeah.
pop-up homelessness, and I ain't going
yeah,
over there with
right.
those people. So,
And
you
Right.
need to know what's happening. There's
right.
already, camp outs and stuff, people surviving, burning fires, people dying in their sleep because it's too cold. People not like, where are you going? You have to have a few people you're going with,
Right.
and
Exactly.
like
In
be
urban,
realistic.
urban, like you said, you don't have to bug out. Like you said, know your neighborhood. If you
Yeah.
live in the city or suburbs, know your neighbors. Can you people, well, not you people, can you secure your street or
Mm-hmm.
your block?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's the key right there.
Mm-hmm.
Can you secure your block so that everybody on your block, your neighbors, all come together to make sure that somebody's patrolling the street, and you can bug in and stay home, but yet you're participating with everybody on your street to make
Exactly.
sure the
Mhm.
your street is secure. That's key. That right there is invaluable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you may
Mm-hmm.
be setting yourself up for failure, and it's like,
Right.
work with the what you have right here. You don't have to like each other, but you can also have an understanding. you know
Exactly.
nobody comes in here that we don't know, and just you work with what's right there. Hey,
Right.
Marlene.
Right.
Exactly.
I bugging out
It,
is
it
not
literally happened during some of the protests.
right. Go ahead, Jay.
I'm sorry. I think I got a delay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on your vision, but I wanted to say something to what Urban said, and it's just my opinion. Um, can y'all hear me, or am I delayed? I know
We
my
can
Yes.
hear you.
internet
We
Nah,
can
been
hear
Yeah,
you
acting
we
up.
now.
can hear you.
Okay, okay. Uh, one thing to what my sister just said, Urban Garden. Um, look here, UGC. Now, why you might not want to go, like you said, you got to move about your immediate space and know your neighbors, know your neighborhood, this and that. But let's say homeless Hank, always hanging around close to your job. We just gonna call him homeless Hank. Be courteous, be nice, be have a relationship with homeless Hank. Because if don't nobody else really know how to survive, homeless people
Yes.
homeless people know how to survive. They can lead you to, guide you to, away
Hmm.
from, and to different circumstances.
That's
That
right.
is true, but you just gotta
Exactly.
be careful. I'm saying it from a perspective as you are now new to their block. They don't
Right.
know you like that, or
Right.
vice versa. So you're not gonna be open armed. Oh, come and join our crew. They're like, who are you? With a side eye. So you gotta
Right.
earn that respect, and it has to go both ways. So I'm not saying go run over. Oh, let me go over there. Nah. If I
No.
kind of say hi, good morning, I've been seen around and being friendly and pleasant, maybe you can kind of get in there, but don't just go over there. I'm going to go over there with them. No, 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 no,
Right.
no, no.
Right.
That
That's
don't
right.
make no good sense.
That's
Right.
right.
Go start bartering with them. Start trading something. Do something of assistance for them before you start to go over there and infiltrate their crew and join their crew. You got
Yeah.
to be cautious because they have their own society. They have their own society within our society. They have
Yes.
their own governance. They don't live by your rules. They have their own rules.
Right. That's true. You're absolutely right. Take homeless Hank a cup of coffee. Say good morning. Just want to come over here and make sure you guys are okay, and go about your business.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And start to build your, but don't say, I'm going to go over here to the woods and I'm going to join what you are of no use to these people. Let's be honest. You are
Right.
of no use. You are a burden to them. And you want them to take on a grown adult burden? Hey, D Mood, they're not down for that. So you got to make yourself look useful and be useful. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Be
Right.
be particular and be wise in how you move. If you're really
Yeah.
in a SHTF, you are of no use. Your money have no use. Your jewelry, you are useless.
Yep.
What are you going to do to help them survive as a collective? That's what they're going to be thinking about. Are you going to be a
Exactly.
problem, or are you going to be an asset?
You even have to look at your friends, because even your friends may not be who you think they are in that type of situation. I wrote it in the comment, but let me say it again, because I have this friend and she is the ultimate definition of spoiled, narcissistic, whatever. And we were talking one day, and I was mentioning some things to her, and she said, "Well, see, that's why I know you could if I was with you, I would survive." I was like, "And what are you gonna do?" And she said, "I'm just gonna be with you so I can survive." I said, "Honey, I will eliminate you and survive by myself."
Mm-hmm.
She got a little
I know
upset.
that's right.
She got a little upset, but I was serious. I said, because in a survival situation, everyone needs to be a participant. There are no spectators in a SHTF scenario or grid down scenario. There are no spectators. You either, I was listening to this audiobook, and they had a saying in their community. They said, everyone works, everyone fights, everyone lives in peace, and everyone survives.
Right.
That's what it's about. I
That's
don't
it.
see how you're having dead weight. Ain't nobody got time for no dead weight. And everyone seems to think, oh, we're going to your house, or listen here. I don't want to be known as a place to go to. I told my family, keep yourself quiet. I don't want nobody to have our name in their mouth
That's
to say,
right.
oh, we're gonna go over to you or to that. No, we just gonna look dumb, and seem useless
Yes,
until we have to
indeed.
show our skills. I don't
That's
want them
right.
to know to come to my house.
That's right.
I no.
And this is a great topic, and Urban. I want to say first of all, thank you for allowing me to join the panel, folks. This is so relevant, especially now and all these crazy things going on in our country and around the world.
Mm-hmm.
You need to wake up. You need to up your awareness of where you're at, who's around you, where you're going, and who's with you.
Right.
Situational awareness is key. And I want to thank you, Urban, for allowing me to come up. I got to go.
Oh,
We're
thank you
going
for
to go to
coming
my
up.
son's football game. Folks, if you have not, please do me two favors, kind sir, kind ma'am. Smash the like button and also share this live out. This is key information that these great folks are talking about. And thank you. And please share it out because I already did. And I'm going to finish the replay when I get back home.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Vision.
Vision.
All right,
Thank
Vision,
you.
take it easy.
Yes, indeed. Take
Appreciate
care.
it, Vision. Can y'all hear
All
me?
right, bro.
Am I back?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear
Yeah,
you.
you back.
Okay.
Later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
And can
Look,
I also say,
whatever you
yeah.
Go
No, I
ahead.
was
Whoever.
just getting ready to say, I also say that one other thing I'm doing, and if you're in a grid down and no power or anything scenario, I'm 76. I'm 68 years old. I don't even know how old I am. I'm 68 years old, and yes, I have bouts with CRC. Can't remember crap. So
okay?
what I do is certain information is important, surviving information. I make sure I have a hard copy of that, something I can read if I forget something. So if you can, I would suggest you do that, just basic survival stuff, because you can't remember everything, because some days my CRC is really bad. So when it kicks in, I like to make sure I have something written down. So like basic survival stuff, I have hard copies, or I have the herbal books, or the things
Mm-hmm.
like that. That's important information, and you don't have to buy it all at one time. Get what you can when you can, and that would be my suggestion.
And Jay,
You
what do
have
you
to have
call that?
books.
When an emergency is going on, you lose some things, don't you?
Right. And
Yeah,
The
you
the
you
trauma, like the trauma or the stress, like what you call it? Yeah, trauma. I guess it's like you kind
yeah,
of get anxious
I,
and you.
yeah,
well when your cortisol levels skyrocket, which is basically adrenaline. Cortisol is more long-term adrenaline. Adrenaline is more short-term and immediate. But we all get mind scrambled. We all get a little bit reluctant to recall things that we know. If it ain't locked in muscle memory, the intensity of the moment will dissipate everything that you had planned to do. So, and Miss Jones, truth, she a couple years younger than me, and I believe in having hard copies too. Even if you just got to laminate a couple of cards or something,
right.
throw them in your backpack. Just remember this: step one, step two, step three.
Mm-hmm.
Remember
Mm-hmm.
herbs, remember stuff that you may be able to forage for, and all of that. Because and even if you in, let's say you in an urban environment, when you panic, not necessarily panicking, but when you thinking about different stuff, somebody got something somewhere. You might mess around and forget which way is the right way to the doggone grocery store. Which way is this or which way is that? So hard copies, technology, this and that. Y'all, if you don't think that it's possible for us to one day not be able to just talk as conveniently as we talk, even if it ain't for forever, even if it's just 2 or 3 weeks, realistically
Mm-hmm.
wrap your mind around not being able to get
Mm-hmm.
on the internet, not being able to talk to
Mm-hmm.
Bougie Prepper, Urban Garden Chronicles, Miss Jones Truth. Think about how that's going to impact and change your life when all of a sudden, when at the click of a mouse or a few pushes of a button, you can look up whatever you want to, research whatever you want to. Think about that going away if you ain't got a couple of books through back in a corner somewhere. So,
Yep. Prep your
yeah.
books too.
Yep.
Prep
Prep,
Exactly.
those
prep
prep
Mm-hmm.
because
your manuals on
your
how to
skill books
operate stuff.
too.
Right.
Your skill books, your how-to books.
And
How to
there's a lot
repair
of
stuff.
free
Because these
information online you can print out, but so do
you're
what you
gonna
do
have
what
to,
Mm-hmm.
you
because you're not
can.
gonna be
Do
able
what
to
you can.
rely on just your memory alone. Like no one's that, you know.
And
Exactly. Yeah. Go ahead.
practice those ideas that you have that if this happened, I'm going to do this. Actually do it. Because me going on that camping trip, I'm glad Tasha invited me because I got to do some stuff and realize even like the bag that I had packed, half of the stuff in that bag I ain't even used. More than half
You
of
Mm-hmm.
it.
see, you see,
I
Mm-hmm.
came back home and took everything out the bag. I said I got to
Mm-hmm.
rethink this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
and
I
even
went
Yep.
that you're
I
not gonna
went
know until you
in
experience it.
yeah, I went in a what they call I would call a small SUV. And when I
Mm-hmm.
tell you I had nobody couldn't get in that car with me. Literally.
Yeah.
Nobody couldn't get
Wow.
in the car with me.
Wow.
I had the back seats down with all, my tent because the tent was a 12 by 12, which I don't need. If it's just me
Mm-hmm.
by myself,
Right.
I don't need a 12 by 12 tent with me. But literally nobody, you couldn't even get in the passenger seat with me. It was just me and my stuff. When I go again, I'm gonna make sure just the back is my
Mm-hmm.
stuff and that's it.
Absolutely. But
Right.
hey, may I make a suggestion to my? Because I'm on the panel with three ladies, and I'm gonna say what I'm about to say as respectfully as I can possibly say it. Um, and y'all know my heart, so I really don't get into female related issues like that. But I want to say this: Bougie made a really great point for my family out here who have small children or smaller children. Let's talk about feminine products and feminine hygiene and all of that kind of stuff, which is typically very light in weight. If there's four y'all, you don't want your kids carry. Hell, you might have to pick them up sometime. So you don't want them carrying nothing heavy. If you have a small backpack, put some feminine hygiene products that will be lightweight, very easy to carry, and give them
Hmm.
to that kiddo and let them carry it out because it's still useful and necessary items, but it's not heavy. It's not going to slow the child down. They got more energy than we got anyway. Think about stuff like that because uh, going into survival mode, sometimes we can forget some of the most important things. And men's bodies and women's bodies are very different. And but that doesn't mean that these things should be neglected or left behind. So I hope I'm saying that respectfully, just throwing out a thought, just
You did.
something to think about.
You did, because even if you're staying where you are, you should still have, and I haven't used that stuff in years, but you still need to have plenty on hand for certain periods of time because you never
Mhm.
know, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Well, I have people in my household. I just changed over. I did my year, so I don't need those things, but I still have them for the people in my house that need them.
Mm-hmm.
But and remember also, they do have reusables.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
that
that
seems to be
that
the better
too
thing. Yeah.
needs water
Water
because
to
you got to
wash them
wash
out.
those
Yeah.
puppies out. So there go your
Hmm.
water again. So, but I do have reusable ones also because, like we was talking earlier, in that same I seen a video in Venezuela where the small pack, I'm talking about the 12 pack of the pads was $10,000.
That's
For
crazy.
that's
Yeah.
real.
And that's part of my sorry, that's part of my preps because I go to Costco, I buy those things by the case, but reusable ones may be what you need because you're not going to be able to buy anything. And you need to not be worrying about,
Yep.
leaking and all these different things out in
Yep.
the cold or out. Like these are things that you have to be concerned about. So,
And
I
wear
will
them.
be looking,
Wear
yeah,
them. I use them. When I got them, I use them so that you can see. Let me tell
how
Hmm.
you,
they
you're gonna
work.
have to have a stomach for that.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
To
Because
wash
you have
that
to
out,
wash
you're gonna
those
have
out.
to have the stomach for that. To do that.
Hmm.
So you need to get that practice. So that's on my
Yes.
my radar to do that because exactly nobody wants to do the cleanup. We've been very
Yeah.
conditioned
Mm-hmm.
to just
Mm-hmm.
modern times. But back in the day, my mom, they didn't have those things. They had to use the cloths and wash
Yeah.
them
Yep.
out, sanitize them, hang them to dry, and get
Right.
them ready for the next month.
They
Right.
And
also
Almost.
have period panties also. I bought
Correct.
that because I have a special needs adult. So I was curious as to, to get that to see how it works. Those are really good also.
Yep.
Well, I raised
You
all my
can use
children
that
on.
in sorry,
Go ahead.
Elder. You can use that with the reusable. This way it would help with the leakage, especially if
Yeah.
you have heavy
Yeah.
flow. You could have the period panty on with the reusable pad.
Right.
And
hmm
sometimes when people are under stress, they have a heavier flow and it's for a longer period of time, whether it's fibroids or injury or whatever is going on. You could be literally relying on those for the entire month because of the health problems that you're having or
Right.
incontinence. So there's other issues that, um, and you don't gonna be time. The women go to the bathroom a lot. Like we go to the bathroom probably more than a man. We don't have time to be
Hmm.
pulling down and clutching here and squeezing there. Like we don't have time if you're really
Hmm.
in a SHTF, you're gonna have to just like, as a kid, just
That's
see your
that's
best
another thing. For I'm not saying, for all that's gonna go in the woods, please think about that too.
toileting.
Hmm.
Toileting is very important.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What
Toileting
are
is
you
very
gonna
important.
do those times, or those people that may be on they monthly? Oh
Yeah.
my good gracious. I
And
can't
even if
even
you're
think.
not, they have a multi-purpose use. You never know what you might need them for. And for the reusable ones, actually, let me tell you something. It's been so long, I didn't even know they had those. So you just told me something I didn't know. But having raised my children on cloth diapers, not
Hmm.
Mhm.
never using disposables unless disposables back in the day were only used if you had to go out of town and you were away. When you were at
Right.
Right,
home,
right,
you
right.
use nothing but cloth diapers. You wash them or whatever. So
Mhm.
that would not really bother me that much, but I'm still trying to figure out. And let me just say this: I'm still trying to figure out how is it I can handle that, but if you got a fish or a chicken, I'm passing out. I don't get it. So I can't handle that. But yeah, but the other thing I can't handle because of family members I've had to deal with and thing, that's a different scenario. But yeah, you need to look at the multi-purpose use of a whole lot of things. You never
And it
know.
goes back to water again because
Exactly.
a lot of people's water storage does not include this part of the
Hmm.
hygiene.
That stuff.
So you will
Yep.
Hmm.
need
Yep.
a lot of water or access to creek or something because you're gonna need
Mhm.
to. Hygiene is so important on the list that we don't even realize how
Hmm.
That's
important it
the
is.
you do you know that's the number one death. When you listen to the people that actually went through the things we're talking about, like the financial crashes in their country and stuff, and or there's a war going on. One guy I was reading a book. I was doing a book reading thing, studying about some, where it was economic and they had fighting going on, and it was dangerous to go out at night. But you know what was the number one killer? Diseases.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not even getting
Mm-hmm.
shot.
Yeah.
Diseases.
Yes.
Hmm.
And not
That
the
was the
Yes.
number
complicated
one thing killing people.
and not the complicated things, the things that, you know, we don't even worry with in today's society is those things. Dysentery, diarrhea. You could die from those things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And back to like for hygiene, I know for me, you may have water, but you don't even know if the water is fully, clean. Like you don't know.
Right.
I always have Dettol
Right.
or something to sprinkle just a bit in the water so that at least you have a disinfectant agent while you're doing your hygiene, whether you're washing your face, you clean your armpits, whatever, your lady parts, man parts. So that way, because you don't want to get boils and bumps and all those different other issues. This is what
Right.
happens. You may be washing yourself, but the water may have bacteria in it as well because of the conditions that you're
Mm-hmm.
living in. You got to have some kind of something to add into the water to kind of disinfect so that your washing is
That's
making
the
more of an
best stuff
impact than
now.
just yeah.
You know what
Dry
I
That,
yourself
noticed? I
properly.
seen some preppers do. They go out to these creeks next to them, scoop
Hmm.
up the water, come back, run it through this filter and all they go is look at the water before and after, but they don't drink the water. That's what you're gonna
that
do? If it wa-
I
if it was
I
something that happened, you're gonna just
Yeah.
run it through the thing and look at it? Why are you not drinking the water? Isn't that the purpose of you having the
That's the
filter?
purpose. To
yo,
exactly.
I,
I have
I am
not
telling
yet seen anybody who said, this is the water I'm going to use, filter it, and actually drink it.
man, family, I'm telling y'all from lived experiences, even when it comes to bathing, like y'all, I think Urban just said, you don't want boils when you washing your lady parts, your man parts. Um, this is stuff that we live through and have seen. I've been to remote areas over here. I've been deep in the bush over here. Man, every creek ain't clean. Even when it
Mhm.
comes to washing your face, washing your body, you know what the best thing you can do is boil that water first, because typically, not always, it kills about 98% of the bacteria, right?
Right.
And I
Exactly.
ain't talking about water for drinking. I'm talking about water for washing your body,
Hygiene. Yeah.
washing yourself.
Mm.
So I just real quick, I just want to say that that's why I love when these conversations come up. And Urban, thank you for doing it. For some people who sit back and fantasize and just really get a chubby off of thinking about when the day come, when all of this stuff happen, do y'all see how unfun most of this is? Do you see how unfun and unappealing this actually really is? Baby, I sit over, my lights go out. Sometimes it don't come on at all. Me and April done boiled water. Me and April got a liter tank. We got backup battery systems. Do you think it's fun if, man, the days I wanted to throw something where you just want to turn the lights on, but you got to plug this up and plug that up and bring this in from outside and bring that outside from
Hmm.
inside.
Damn.
It's a whole job. You literally spending half of your day living to survive. So
Yep.
Mhm.
for people who take it seriously, this whole homesteading and off grid,
Right.
I get it. But like I think it was Bouger said earlier, it's easy to do that when you can still just walk in your dining room and flick the light on. It's still easy to do that when you can just walk in your kitchen and turn the faucet on and the faucet come on. Baby, when you living off of it to survive, it is a whole different monster. Everything's important. Everything matters. How much drinking water we got left, how much
Hmm.
bath water we got left, how much dishwater we got left. It is not fun, people. I hope that's
No.
resonating. And I'm done. I'm sorry, Urban. I got on a little
No, no, that's,
tangent,
that's
but
good.
Oh,
That's
you're good.
because
We
I
need, we
think a lot.
need that reality check. Like you said
Yeah.
earlier, people do stuff and make it seem like it's a show or it's a, but when you have to do that stuff, like I said, to see VB go out there and process that wood and he's sweating. He
mm-hmm.
ain't click off the video, spliced
Hmm.
it and come back. And no, he's showing the sweat, how much energy it takes to chop that wood and to process that wood so
And you
that you
hear the
could be
echoing of
warm,
like
so
I'm
that
telling
you
you, I
can
was like,
eat.
man, he was hitting the wood, and the video wasn't playing at the first part. Remember, it was black, and you could hear the sound effects and the echoing. I'm like, this is about 20 minutes
No,
of chopping
he
wood.
did a new one, Urban, where
I
he
and I
went
then, I then
out
I watched the
and
replay. I'm like, Lord of mercy, Mister, this is worse than the black. This was worser. He was chopping and hitting and
Worse
blam,
her.
and I'm like, Oh my God, I can't do. I'm like, I couldn't do that. I said I will not be doing that. So I will have to find a building or some kind of hole in the cave because I am not doing that. There's no way I have the physical capacity to do that. I'm not gonna even pretend and play no
It's
game.
like, see how me and
No,
Urban is
no.
truthful about what we can and what we can do. You have to be
Yes,
truthful
yes,
about
yes.
what
Go
you
ahead.
can and
Definitely.
what you cannot do. Don't sit and pretend that you could do this or try to look like you can do all and be all. Willfully, I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that nothing don't happen because
Facts.
Amen.
we don't even can comprehend. You thinking, I'm just thinking about the people that just gonna go cuckoo for Cocoa Pups. I don't
Hmm.
want to see none of that. I don't want
No.
to say, I hope nothing no happen. I just hope we be prepared and absolutely nothing happens. I'd
Exactly.
rather us be prepared and we be in front of the 8 ball than behind it, than us to
Yep.
have to go through and have to deal with the people that go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Right.
And that even that
I'm.
people who
Fact.
crack under the pressure.
Let me say,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, I'm thrilled that I got a chance to experience a lot of things in my life. And where we used to live, we had a wood burning stove.
Hmm.
Basically, we had central.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have central heat for some reason, but anyway, this wood burning stove had a blow on it. But I decided I was going to go outside and split this wood for this wood burning fire. I thought I was going to die, and I only split like about 3 logs. That is not an easy thing to do. So
No. Mm-mm.
what I did was we had logs on one side, we had some pine as kindling on the other. I went out there and even splitting that little bitty pieces of pine was no joke. You start sweating after the first few swings because number one, you got the
Girl
weight of
sweating.
the
You just feel your body vibrating. I got
child.
like one splinter and I was helpless. I was like sweating through my damn finger.
Because number one, that axe is not lightweight in the first
No.
place. And number two,
And
then
you
you
and
got
you
this,
missing half the
yeah,
time. You not
yeah,
hitting
and
the
then you,
target.
yeah, and then you got this heavy axe trying to hit this heavy wood and this hardwood. Let me tell you something. I said, Lord, I just want to thank you for being so that I don't have to do that now. Thank you so much. So I'm appreciating it. But if you've never done it, then you don't understand. And if you miss it, you may split your leg open or split your hand or something. That's no joke. So when I see people who
Let me
can
just
do
see
it,
your face, Lydia.
you have
You can
my
turn it off
respect.
after.
You have my respect. So
Okay, you can
yeah,
turn it off. You can turn it off now if you don't want it on.
yeah. So I've gotten that experience, and I hope that I don't ever have to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do
I
it
want
one
to say
time.
good
I
morning.
want to go out with Grand Rising. I want to go out with VB one time and just to have, like you said, Elder, just to have that experience.
Yes.
I want to go out and be able to process the wood just to have that experience.
Hey, Bougie, I would rather go out there and break some little twigs off the trees and get a whole pile.
That's what I'm gonna be doing. Some pine needles, and I'll make some tea.
Yeah,
But I ain't doing none of that.
exactly,
You get
exactly.
me a tarp
Something
and some boots,
easy.
and I ain't doing none of that.
Pick up
Grand
twigs off the
Rising,
ground or
Lydia.
something.
Good rising to you. Good morning,
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
everyone on the panel. I just wanted to come and enlighten on a situation of mine when I was maybe about 15, 20 years ago. Um, I don't know, a lot of men like the NFL package, okay? And if you had direct TV, you get 4 boxes and you get the NFL package. Well, my husband, I didn't want to watch it, so we would band with an old coworker of mine to get in on this NFL package. So every year, this same man, Mr. Barry, would reach out to me and say, "Do your husband want to get on the NFL package?" And he would take one of his direct TV receivers, and we would break it to our house where we had direct TV, but that receiver had the NFL package on. Well, one particular year, I had to deliver it back to him. I had never been to this man's house before. And the journey to go to his house was, to me, mansions. He didn't live in a mansion. He lived in a nice home in a nice area to get to it. But these houses had the circle garage and not the garage, the driveway where you go up and it come out like a big old horseshoe. It's set probably daggone 300 yards away from the main road. And now that 300 ain't big enough. I'm talking about thousands of yards. It was just something like the show Knox Landing. I don't know if y'all remember that show called Knox Landing, and the man's name was Dallas, and they lived in Texas, and it was all those big old homes. It was like that. And I got a spirit over me then, over 16, 15 years ago, that I looked over there and I said, this is too much. Why would they need all of this? I bet you if we lost, everything, they wouldn't know how to plant a potato. And at that time, I didn't know how to plant a potato neither. I never knew I would learn how to plant a potato, but something in my heart knew that it could be times, and sometimes we live more than what we need. Instead of what we need, we don't have. And we don't have things like cast iron pans. We don't have knowledge enough to know how to filter water. I don't want to drink the water neither. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not healthy enough to be able to chop wood and all of that. I'll be had an asthma attack. But I know how to poke my lip out, and my husband will go out there and do everything for me. And just to say it all. But we ought to get ready, but I'm not going to be doing things that I know I ain't going to do. I'm not going to advocate filtering water because I have no desire to want to filter water. I'm not going to be advocating a deep freezer, Yeti deep freezer to go outside and put food in because I want to get my food out the Dominion Power deep freezer I bought. I just want to live like this. And I pray that I don't see the days where my children have to live like this or have to, come there. But it's in fact, we could possibly be any day. It could be any day. We don't know.
We don't know.
But you just got to be ready. You got to be ready with some of the small things. And keep in mind, when panic set in, are we really going to have that bag with everything we need in it? Are we really going to be ready? We're going to have to barter, trade, get with a group of people you hope don't turn against you.
Yep.
We can talk and make all the scenarios in the world, but they will happen. They happen in any day today. Just driving down the road, you got the person in the left-hand lane doing 45 miles an hour when you know you should be in the far right-hand lane going that slow. But you ain't gonna let me over because you want to be right here. We're gonna run into stubbornness. We're gonna run into don't care about you, no matter what color you is. It's me over you, life and death, and people gonna kill one another. So learn all the skills you can learn, do all you can do, but we gonna die from sickness because I'm gonna drink that water dirty. I'm gonna drink that water dirty. You think I'll be trying to worry about is my t-shirt clean? Is my hair combed?
No.
That's just is unbelievable. And I heard Jay when he say the powers don't come on. I know in America, people in this chat have dealt with powers out for more than 1 or 2 days. And having to cook all your food, or even knowing how to cook all your food. When Isabel came, the power was out for 3 days. Isabel, I believe. Isabel came, power was out for 3 days in Virginia. We had to cook all our food. When my daughter called, she had babies at the time, and she was like, what are you doing for food? I said, we cooked everything and got it wrapped up and got it in the cooler on ice. She was like, can you cook all my food? I'm like, why you can't cook your food? She's like, Mama, I don't know what to do. I said, bring all your food that you have over here that can go bad in the refrigerator. And I seasoned that food up and cooked it on the grill and put it on ice. And we ate it cold when it was time to eat. And we made oodles and noodles on the grill. We made cans of beans on the grill, cans of vegetables on the grill. We made those things on the grill. So as long as you can build a fire, you may make it. You ain't gonna go hungry, but you gotta learn how to eat raw too.
But you said a good
These
point.
days,
You're doing what you're good at. That's what we
Yeah.
need to focus on.
Yeah.
I am not chopping no damn wood. I know for a
Come on
fact
now.
I can't do it. I could if I have to do it, can I do a bit of it? Yes. But in terms of that's my contribution, hell to the no. I'm gonna do what I'm good at. I can raise chickens, I can plant some seeds, I can forage, I can do other stuff. But I'm not gonna do what I'm not good at. It don't make no sense to nobody. Do what you are good at and make that a value to the team. Because no, we
and
can't all be everything.
it it
We can't be
starts
everything.
young.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. I think I cut you off.
I had to choose a picture real quick because I have a new phone, and obviously my old avatar don't exist no more. But this picture, I have my 5 grandkids in there, and they all live off grid. All right, in Arkansas, and they recently came down, and they've been around their cousins and stuff. And the one cousin was telling my granddaughter she'll be 10 this week, Kelly. She was showing her how she can do a death drop and all of these things on TikTok. And Kelly looked at her and she said, "Well, I can cook." A 9-year-old going on 10-year-old looked at another 10-year-old and said, "Well, I can cook."
Yeah.
She gets up and cook her siblings bread, oatmeal, eggs, everything on the stove. But she normally do it outside on propane. But she came right in my house cooking at 9 years old for her siblings.
Correct. And
So
most Caribbean kids know how to cook at 9, and they think it's some extraordinary thing. Oh, the kids touch the gas stove? Yeah. Of course. What are you going to teach them when they're 16? You're going to teach them when they're young so they know how to handle themselves.
And to just let reality set in, this girl was a baby when no, she wasn't born. Just think that same mother didn't know how to grill or how to survive 15, 16, doing Isabel. I don't know how long Isabel been now. But just think, the same mother who didn't know how to make sure her kids eat is now living off grid. The same child who didn't know how to preserve her food is now living off grid.
You see?
Whoever knew?
Just the mindset. Hey, I'm biased. Just the mindset. Do what you're good at.
Welcome everyone.
Can do. Do what you can do. And those who can chop wood will chop wood. I'll do something else. But you have to find something that you can do, because the whole point is you can't just sit there and do nothing. I think you can all agree. You can't just sit there and do nothing. You're gonna have to find something that you're gonna do.
The big thing is just make sure that you know how to start a fire. That is so important.
Exactly.
To keep it warm, cooking. Please know how to start a fire. And also what I learned going camping was keeping the fire going is no joke.
Yep, feeding that fire.
Right.
Yep, that's a whole nother ball game too.
I didn't even know until Virginia. I think Virginia mentioned it. That gumwood, or someone mentioned something about gumwood. Never heard of gumwood in my life.
Me either.
And that's very flammable, very dangerous.
So it's pine. Pine goes up fast. The reason why I know that, the first house we lived in when I got married, the entire house, the floors were made of pine. Well, the house 10 months after we got married, the house caught on fire from electrical shortage. And let me tell you something, I've never seen a house go up so fast with that pine wood. It went up very fast. So that's another
wow.
But I wanted to say, my family don't know it yet, but every family for Christmas this year is getting a book called How to Live Without Electricity. They may not like it. They may not understand it, but sometime or another they may appreciate it, because we've all had those opportunities where electricity has gone down. I've been through Katrina and several hurricanes and all that other stuff. So you do what you have to do.
Survival things that we're talking about. We're not talking about doomsdays. We're just talking about simple weather stuff where you could lose electricity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or what if you are on blackouts? Brownouts also too. You have to learn to conserve energy when you might be on brownouts.
And I've lived in the north. What if you without
Snowed
electricity,
in.
whiteouts, those what they call thunderstorms? You can't get snowstorms that where you hear thunder and your electricity goes out, and you need to know how to not freeze to death.
Mm.
Yes,
So we're talking about
yes.
common sense. It's people say prepping. A lot of it is common sense. You know situations are going to come. How do you plan for those situations? Better to
Oh,
be
it ain't
ready.
common anymore. Just to
No,
let you
it's
know,
not
Elder, you
common.
common
know
sense ain't
No,
common
common no
sense
more.
no,
is
no,
not
Not less than
common,
88.
Elder.
Not less than
yeah.
88. It ain't common no more. Because these kids don't have
Common
no good
sense
sense
is not
sometimes.
common.
Oh,
Because
you
like
know
I
what?
said earlier, it's mind-boggling that people are killing themselves to stay warm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. A lot of people don't know about, carbon dioxide. They're dying from carbon dioxide poisoning when we clearly have monitors that monitor that now. Like, why
exactly.
are you dying for carbon dioxide poison? That was before
I
time.
mean, I think you mean carbon monoxide, but yes, I wanted
Mono,
to make
Oh,
carbon,
thank you.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah, correct my pronunciation now.
And we just got back in our house because Tuesday evening we're sitting here and I told my husband, "Why are you burning food in the kitchen?" He says, "I'm not burning food." Then the alarm goes off. Our entire house filled with smoke. The fire department came and said our wiring in this house, and like I said, we're renting, was so bad. They literally took the meter and said they will not bring the electrical meter back until everything is rewired. And we just got back in the house last night. So you have those situations where you never know what might happen.
you don't know exactly.
You don't know. Who could predict? And there was never any fire. It was just all smoke. And the blessing was that we were awake. We could have been asleep
Mm.
and we
You
could
see how
possibly
serious
have
it is.
died. Yes.
Even
Yes.
as you said, those detectors, people like to plug them out. Like we have a tent that plugs them out because they keep burning bacon or whatever. Those
Right.
detectors are to save your life. Don't plug them out. Don't disable them, dude. Like you keep them on and learn to like not smoke up your kitchen with your bacon because that could save
Crack
your
the
life or
window,
somebody else's
crack
life. You
the
can't smell carbon
sliding door.
monoxide. It's odorless. You have to have the detector tell you that it's there so you can open the window and get the hell out of there. Don't
Right.
play around with your detectors, guys. Do not joke around.
Yeah, exactly.
And have some extra blankets. A wool blanket is very good. Have a wool blanket. I say for each person in the house, have a wool blanket for them.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Rubber
we
boots are
did
good for
that
me because I
too.
gotta
The
go out in the snow.
electricity went
So
out, and
yep.
and when they had that, we had a freeze here, overnight freeze. And the weird thing was, just about everyone on our house had, I'm sorry, everyone on our street had electricity, except 8 houses. But guess what? We were one of the 8 houses that did not have electricity. So we ended up having to close off a room with blankets, and I keep enough quilts and stuff. And then everybody just kind of bundled up, and we slept through the night. And we had enough things to keep us warm and stuff. So, like I tell them, you never know what might happen. Now, suppose we just like, I only have one blanket here and one blanket there. Nope, honey. Each bed, you could probably cover each of our beds about 8 or 10 times with blankets and quilts. I
Just
believe in them.
hold it down for 1 minute. I'll be right back. Hold it down for me.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I'm back, y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
Yes,
we
we
can
can
hear
hear you,
you.
Jack.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Hey, Lydia, how you doing, sister?
I'm well, thank you. Hey, how you doing? Tell April I say hello as well. So I wanted to say hello to Uncle G. I did see Uncle G and songs
Yes,
in there,
Uncle G. Hello.
and before I had put the phone down and drive. But yeah, I'm just so blessed to just come on this panel and just communicate with y'all about these things because in fact it's in our heart to do right. It's in our heart to do right. And if doing right means taking care of your family, that's just doing right. So
You
That's just doing
are
right.
your first responder. You are the first responder.
Exactly.
Facts.
yeah,
Fact. And I
Remember
can I
that.
say
You
something?
are your first responder.
I like that. That's a T-shirt, definitely.
No, that's a
Exactly.
real thing. That's a real
Yeah.
thing.
That's a real thing.
I just want to say the reason I stepped down a while ago is because while we sitting up here talking, Baby, Lydia said she loved me more than you. Now, now that we getting back to it, man. While we sitting up here talking about all of this, y'all, this is real life, baby. My doggone internet and power went out at the same time, so we just went around, hooked up all the backup systems, and get pulled out all the lanterns and all of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But in reality, if you y'all know how I'm getting grown folk business, I'm at a point where I'm ready to tell folks they lying to themselves. If you think that you not more accustomed to some of the luxuries in your life, I don't care if you ain't got but $4 in your bank account. I
Yeah.
don't care if you just borrowed some money from your brother-in-law, from your cousin, from your auntie. The majority of people who I know are in a position that don't realize some of the everyday absolute luxuries that are at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that living a prepping life or a prepping lifestyle is going to be overwhelmingly frustrating from time to time, I don't know how to make you think otherwise. I really don't know how to get that reality through your head, because it is not easy and it's not always fun. It
Nope.
comes with a lot. It comes with a whole lot.
Like you
No.
saying that those that are accustomed to making coffee with a coffee maker, learn how to make some coffee manually.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mm.
look, so my grandkids was at the house recently, and my daughter was like, "Mom, you going out your way to make them some sweet tea when they used to drinking water every day. But me, I'm trying to make sure they got sweet tea, but I have loose leaf tea. I don't have tea bags. So my grandson thought it was amazing. He was like, "Grandma, you made your own tea bag?" I said, "No, I just put the coffee filter in the strainer and poured the tea that was in the bowl there." He said, "That was your own tea bag." I said, "Well, you keep that in mind. If you ever need to filter some leaves or whatever, just use something. It could be a t-shirt or whatever, and pour it in the strain right through." He said,
Mm-hmm.
"Thank you, Grandma. Thank you. I'm gonna be making
Exactly.
tea all the time. Could I take a couple of boxes of your tea?" I said, "Oh, that's what we getting at. You want a couple boxes of my tea? You you go ahead, cause I got plenty. You go ahead and take them, cause I got plenty. Cause you know now that you learn to stock up, when you see something on closeout sale, that's a deal. You buy it all. You don't leave. I don't leave nothing on the shelf. If it's only 12, I'm taking all 12. I don't leave nothing for nobody. If they, the tea is a Lipton tea, loose leaf tea, and it was probably like 7, 8 of them for $1, but it's a box. So you imagine a box of tea. It's a lot of tea in there. A little bit goes a long way. So I took all the boxes, and I've been having that stuff since the pandemic. I've been having
Another
it for a while.
another another topic I think we don't talk a lot about too is entertainment. When you
Mm-hmm.
don't have
Yeah.
power or stuff, what are you going to do to occupy your time? You need to have those things on hand. Like when I go into either the $1.25 store or the Dollar General, I like to pick up the Sudoku coloring
Mhm.
book,
Right.
um, stuff like that. Like, if you have children? What do you have for them to do? Because they can't get on their tablets and all of this stuff like that. What do you have for them to do to occupy their time so they won't drive you nuts while you trying to keep the house together, or like Jay said, you unplugging this and unplugging that,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to figure out how to keep the house going while the power is out. What type of entertainment, manual entertainment do you have? Do you have cards? Like
Yeah.
I had picked up
Board
some
games.
some
Yeah.
concrete chalk. I don't think you call it that, but the chalk that you could go out and somebody said, what you gonna do with that? Go outside and do a hotchkotch? What? We know how to entertain
Yep.
ourselves
Right.
over here.
And the four
We are
squares.
big
Remember four
kids
squares?
over here. I got
Yeah.
coloring. I don't have no kids. I pick up coloring books. My kids gonna pick up a coloring book and color it. if that's
My
what they need to do to entertain themselves. I don't. The oldest, my youngest is 23 or something like that. I got coloring books and stuff for them. We got the
Yeah.
Monopoly game. We got the Sorry game.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. What are you going to do to entertain yourself? I got your crossword puzzle books and your find the word. I got a bunch of those type of books also. I picked those up. Make sure you have something to entertain yourself and the
yeah,
kids.
my grandkids came to me. They was like, "Grandma, Kelly, Grandma, you got some chalk?" I said, "Yes, I do got chalk. Can I use it to go right outside?" I said, "What you writing about outside?" She said, "I'm gonna put some of my words." I said, "You can put your words on paper. We gonna save this chalk for a later day." He gonna sit there and mess. They know I got chalk because every time they come there, they grab the chalk. I hid my chalk
Mm-hmm.
this time because you got to catch that stuff on at the store. You don't really see jumbo chalk no more.
Right.
You don't
So
see that stuff.
that's why I picked it up. I was surprised when I seen it too.
Yeah, you got to keep that jumbo chart for them hopscotch games. Now, had she said let's play hopscotch, I would have did it. But she
Right.
talking about she going to write her sight words on the tab. Nah, no, you're not.
Even a jump rope. How many kids don't know how to jump rope or jump double dutch?
Yeah. Yeah. I keep chess, checkers. I went to get some cards the other day, and this lady said, "Well, these cards are $5 a deck," and I'm like, "Oh, honey, where's the dollar decks at?" He said, "Because I'm not paying $5 for one deck of cards." So I stocked up on a little bunch of the little cheap dollar decks and stuff like that because you got to do something to entertain yourself when in those situations. And like you said, books, whatever. Hey, and I believe you're never too old to color. I still love coloring. Doing
Yes.
something.
My
You're never
girlfriend,
too
she likes
old.
that's her relaxing. Sometimes she'll pull out her coloring book and she color.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a
It helps
chess
with their
set and
stress
my
and mental health
grandchildren
too.
made
That
up
these
their
little
own game.
activities.
Yeah. I had a chess set and my
Mm-hmm.
grandchildren came over and they saw it. They was like, "How you play chess?" I said, "Well, baby, I can't teach you how to play chess. It's kind of a long process." So them two children took that chessboard, honey, they made up their own game and they was having them a jolly good time. I don't know what they were doing with it, but they entertained themselves for hours with that chessboard, making up their own game. So
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
have chess, backgammon, checkers. I have a game called Bop It, which take batteries, but I got all the Bop Its and the Twisters and the Salmon Says and all of those games. And we play those games with the kids because they're not gonna. My daughter don't allow her kids to be on the devices. They have device days where they're in times and stuff like that. But I can't say that about all my grandkids. Some of them keep it in their face. They walk with it in their face. They get out the car. They can't put it down. That's the time
Mm-hmm.
that we're living in. But they're gonna miss a lot of steps. Oh, I got a question. Is it true you're not supposed to text at the gas pump with your phone?
Yep.
I've
It's,
before
Don't
too.
use your
And
phone at all while
yeah,
you're pumping. Leave the phone in the
yeah,
car.
and you're supposed to turn your car off, right?
Yep.
yeah, I
That
know
will
you're
that will
It,
cause a
supposed to
fire.
talk. Yeah, but
yeah.
the phone thing is a thing, and my daughter, she questioned me last night about it because I looked in the rearview mirror and she was texting. I was like, "Naya, you're not supposed to be using that phone for nothing at that pump while you get pumping gas." So she gets in the
Tell her to
car.
Google it. Tell her to Google it because they never believe
She
you.
it,
she did,
it's
and it
static
told her
electricity.
it was a myth.
Nope.
Look
Hold on.
here,
Let me look at it.
y'all.
Mhm.
The
Let me look at it. Go ahead. Keep
reality is,
talking.
okay, so y'all got me in my feelings, man. I'm thinking about a whole lot of different stuff. I'm gonna get back to some of it in a minute. But y'all realize these devices, we can't see everything that is being emitted or received by these
Mhm.
devices. You got
Mhm.
static electricity, you have a form of connectivity. It may not be, it is discouraged for a reason. Now, the probability, I'll admit, may be low. It ain't always gonna happen, which is why
Right.
so many people comfortable with it. But at the end of the day, I put it like this: truth be told, true story. You could literally, in some instances, if the barometric pressure and all the other elements are just right, you could drop a lit match in a gas can and won't nothing happen. But from a probability standpoint, if you post some gas on the ground and throw a match on it, it's gonna light up. It's exposed to more oxygen. It's a whole lot of different factors.
Hmm.
It's just something I don't want to play with. I don't believe me personally. I don't get on my phone. I don't do stuff. I ain't taking no phone calls. I ain't texting. I can take that 3 or 4 minutes out of my life to just go
Okay.
ahead and leave that phone in the car and do what I need to do, fill up my tank, and then get back in and pick up where I left off.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Because
I
there,
want. I wanted to mention.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Elder. Go
No, I
ahead,
was just going
Elder.
to say that these days, and the way they're making these phones, and they get so hot now, these batteries are they you look it up. There's a lot of instances where the batteries just explode for no reason. They had one happen on an airplane. So just to be safe, I would rather be safe than sorry.
Well, to confirm what
Right,
African
and
says, they are
that's my
saying
point.
now that it's negligible. It's not probable that it could happen, but it's not highly
That's what
probable.
African was just saying.
So
That
I'm reading an
don't take
article.
that chance.
Don't take that chance, and because
Hmm.
they in Canada they've now approved it because people tap their phone at the
Mm.
to pay. They tap their phone.
Hmm.
I think some okay.
That
They have
is on
let me see.
there.
The Wi-Fi dropped out. They tap to pay, and that's now allowed. But it's not. But it could happen. And second of all, you're not paying attention. If you're texting at the gas station, you're not paying attention. And
Yeah.
the gas station is the most
Yeah,
probable place where
it's
women
distracting you.
women get
Hmm.
attacked. So,
Yes.
irregardless of the fire igniting, pay attention and
True.
see what's going on around you.
Be aware of your
Your
Yep.
surroundings.
your
And all.
Yep.
surroundings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Hmm.
another lesson to teach. But I remember it used to be a picture of a phone with an X on it, and
Yes.
I looked out there
Yes.
at it, and it wasn't there anymore. So
Yeah.
they
No
Mm.
took
smoking and
it
no cell phones, they said.
away. Yeah, but it's not. It wasn't on Circle K's last night. So that thing I wanted to make people aware of. But that's another good notion. Be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Be
But you
aware of
know
your
what?
surroundings.
Now that you said that, like, why would y'all have the warning one time and then take it away just because y'all want people to tap their phone?
Right. Exactly. They want payment.
Yeah,
It might not
it
be
was.
that it cannot happen, but because they want people to tap their phone, they take it off
They want
so
Correct.
they
you can
want
tap your
convenience.
phone.
They want convenience at the
Right,
convenience store.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they
But
need to do away with that.
yeah, and another thing about being safe, let's go back to being aware of your surroundings, especially if you're female and you're going out by yourself. You need to constantly look at where you are and your surroundings. I
Mhm.
saw a video and I thought that was the smartest thing, especially at the gas station. When these guys jumped out to attack this person at the gas station, this person did the smartest thing in the world. They took that gasoline and started dousing the attackers with it. Guess what? The attackers ran off. You need to be able to pay attention so you can kind of think on your feet. Because if you're focused on that phone or just ridiculous stuff, you are a prime suspect. And trust me, you never know who's watching you. You never know who's watching you and how you move and how you go out and everything. Even sometimes it's just good to take a different way to work, come home a different direction, because people, you don't know who's watching you. And these days, with this new mentality where I'm too lazy to get this for myself, so I'll just take it from someone else, you need to constantly
Mm.
be aware of your surroundings. Because you look at it, these flash mobs, home invasions, and things like that, you need to constantly just, I don't mean be paranoid, but be aware, you know?
Situational awareness is what they call that. Situational awareness.
Right.
That's
I
very
Yeah,
wanted to.
interesting.
that's
I was thinking on I was going back to the lighting. I was thinking too like, cause sometimes I wanted to point out when you're getting your flashlights and your lanterns and stuff, and they have this thing with these looms where they
Lumens, yeah,
500,
yeah.
Yeah.
1,000. And what I've come to see with these things, those things only last about a half an hour. So be mindful of that. And you might be like, wow, this got 1,000 looms, but how long is that going to last? You
Right.
can't have it burning. Like you're not going to be able to have it like how we talk about flipping the light and the lights,
Hmm.
and your lights stay on until you flip it off. That lumens is not going to burn all night. You're going to
No,
get probably a
no,
good 20 minutes out of it, and that's going to be
that's it.
it. So just because it has 1,000 looms does not mean it's going to last all night long, or for hours. It's not
Yeah.
going to last
And
What
for
to
I
add to
hours.
the lighting, you have to
Right.
have the right batteries. I
right.
sometimes I assume that everything is double A. Not everything is double A. When
No.
I looked at my stuff, one of the fire detectors is 9-volt batteries. I don't have nine. I don't really buy 9-volt, but I have to start to go to check each of the stuff to see which batteries use which. Some use AAA, some use double A, some have to use C. Like you have to have these things in stock because you might get a rude awakening when you're like, oh shoot, I don't have the right
Yeah.
batteries to replace
Right.
some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, may I say
But
what
look,
I have done?
you go ahead.
Go ahead, Lydia.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Lydia.
I was going to
Elder.
talk about the batteries I have and
Mm.
never. Oh well, I was just going to say right quick, the batteries I have at home is D. I never used them. They're brand new. I think I've had these batteries for 7 years, and they're brand new in the pack, and they're number D. I don't know when I'm gonna need a D, but I got a D. But go ahead.
You got to go
Yeah.
ahead, Miss Jones.
Yeah. What I was going to say, what I purchased was these motion detector lights. They're called Mr. Beams, and I love them because they take D cell batteries. But what I like about them, like when we have those lights out situation, and where I live, you don't know when the light's going to go out. I like them because when the lights go out, I put my batteries in them, and every time we go near a room or in a room, the lights out, you automatically have light situations. So those are good to have just in those situations. And then sometimes if I have to go out to my car, it's like a floodlight. It just lights up everything. I keep things like that nearby. And yeah, I do. I have a case with nothing but batteries in it, and I'm constantly using the batteries. It goes from triple A's because we have a little bit of everything, every size in this house. So I keep from triple A's to D cells. And so, but those Mr. Beams, I love them because I have one right over my carport door because the way the lights are, you're up underneath the carport before the lights come on. So I have one
Yeah,
right over my door, so it automatically comes on before the other lights come on. So sometimes it's good to have those for just, and even in a grid down situation, they're good to have. You can leave them outside or whatever. They're weatherproof, just to let somebody know if they come near, you're going to be seen or something like that.
Right,
So I bought
right.
those, and I don't use them all the time. Most of the time, I keep the batteries out, but I know they're there when I need them. So
you
those are
have to
good
be
to have
prepared
too.
because sometimes I was like, oh shoot, then I had to go go buy the batteries. I'm like, who the hell uses C and D? Like what? No, that's what
They have
happens.
those battery cases, unbiased access. You keep the batteries in the freezer. I've heard of people
I've
doing. I don't
never,
know how
yeah,
true that is, but I have a battery case where all the batteries that I buy, I put them in there
I have it
so
too.
that they upright or whatever the case is, and
and when your batteries are being disposed of,
Right.
this is how fires have started. Again, not highly probable. Don't throw all your old batteries in a container and they're all touching each other. You
Right.
have to put tape on the pointy end so that if it hits another battery, it's not going to ignite. There have been fires that have been the forensic person has sourced it back to batteries in a drawer
Exactly.
or somewhere that banged each other, and that's all it took, and it started a little ignition, and then the fire started.
And did
So
you
don't
know if
just
a
throw them.
battery is in your trash can and you have aluminum foil in there, you can trigger the heat from the battery will ignite will cause the aluminum foil to get so hot it could literally ignite something. So you have
Exactly.
to even be careful how you throw that. But yeah, I keep a case too. And in my case, if yours is like mine, it also has a battery tester. So you'll know
Yes.
what's going low, what's still
Yes.
good. So it's good to have that.
And that should be just part of your everyday practice, not like when something goes left you already know, okay, this is, because this is the problem, we save things for when it goes left. No, you should be using your battery banks now, you should be using your cell phone, but like should be part of your
Every
daily routine
be
so that you
rotated.
already
You should be
know,
rotating everything.
Yes.
rotating it out. You should be knowing, okay, not running the shower and the sink for toothbrush, like do it now. Don't wait till, okay, um, I'm gonna do it when it goes left. You need to know
Yeah.
how much water you can use, how long it can last you, how long a gallon of water can last you right now, not a year from now, right
How
now,
much? How much stuff you can do with a gallon of water?
of
Yeah.
water. And
And
don't make
even
it go down the drain. Get something
yeah,
to catch the water, and that second that we call gray water can be used to water some plants or something. Don't just run it down the drain.
right. And
These are
even
things
my
you have to kind of
electricity.
learn.
And even my electricity. I'm here. My husband works. My son is at work. Most days I'm here by myself. I don't even turn on the electricity. The only thing I have on right now is my computer. That's it. All the lights are off. Nothing else is on. And it's
Yep.
okay with me because I believe in opening up curtains and letting
Yep.
free light
Sunshine.
come into
Yep.
the door. This is free light. So, just get into those little habits and then you won't, you'll be better prepared when something happens. Because give me free light over electric light anyway, because exactly it's free.
And what I've done over here for years, because my uncle reminded me in Jamaica, I don't have all my appliances plugged in. I have obviously the fridge, freezer, and the stove. Hey, Miss Shirley, those are plugged in. Anything else is not plugged in. I plug
Right,
in my toaster when I need to use the toaster
right,
because it's
right.
phantom power that's running and using energy. And also, if there's a surge, even if you have the right, outlets and stuff, you could ruin your appliances. So what's the point of me paying for phantom power? And what's the point of me also ruining my appliances? Hey, Wayne. So
Hey,
I
Wayne.
plug out all
Grand
my
Rising.
stuff and I plug them in when I need to use something. My family finds it annoying because there's no time on like the microwave and stuff, but I don't plug it in. When you want to use it, you plug it in. When you're finished, you plug it out.
Right.
Mentioned, I noticed too, people, um, it was a misunderstanding of like when you have those eco flows and the jackeries, what can you power with them? It's according to the size of the battery, what you can use to power it. And also what I've learned is that anything with a heating element in it, no bueno. You're gonna have to stay away from stuff that has a heating. You're not gonna be able to plug up no heater, no space heater. Those
Okay.
things cannot run those type of
So you have to
things.
get like the old fashioned, like a kerosene or a propane or
Yeah,
whatever.
gas. You gotta have to have a
Yeah.
gas generator if you want to run a toaster oven, anything with a heating element. Those type of batteries cannot run those things at all, none whatsoever. So that's another
And
misunderstanding. Like people, you will hear people say, "Can I run a heater on that?" Nope.
no.
It uses too much energy. It's just gonna
And
make
that's
the
not going to
heat
be
the battery blow
you.
out.
Yeah, that's not worth it. So that's why I go
Nope.
to for heat, I go to the old school. We have two kerosene heaters. I'm going to try to find another one, and that's what I'm going to use because I can get kerosene oil quite easily. It's not um preferable, but hey, it's going to keep me warm. Open the window a
We
crack, let
have
the
a
breeze out.
plan
Yeah,
for when the winter time. If you have a power outage, please have a plan A, B, C, D, and E, and how you're gonna keep warm safely.
safe,
Exactly.
exactly, safely. Opening your oven is not heating up your, like, none of that's nonsense. And people brought in barbecues back in the day when we had that winter storm, and they died of carbon monoxide. Your barbecue's not meant to be used in your house, in your living room, to keep warm. Like, you got to use some common sense. If that's the case, then go to a hotel or make a decision, but don't be doing foolishness and putting your family's health at risk because you didn't have a plan. Don't That's not good thinking.
And then two, things with heating elements will take up a lot of energy to run. So remember, you have other things that you're going to need to plug into those things. So you have to really scale down on the things that you want to use during those times. You don't want to use things that draw out a lot of energy where in case what if you have rechargeable lanterns or something like that and the
Mm.
lantern died, now you done used up all your battery for this heater and now you can't charge up your phone or things of that sort. So we have to be mindful of what we're going to use with our batteries in the time when we may need them. Make sure it's a
What I've
necessity.
learned through all of this and like a year 2 years of talking to all of you guys online is that that's the whole point. They have this notion that everything's going to be solar and electric and Teslas and everything's going to be. That's not going to really work in it doesn't work in the real world. You're going to have oh what's hold on, let me post a link again. You're going to have multiple ways. So gasoline, electrical, yes, propane, so good old fashioned charcoal. You can't, I don't think it's feasible to be relying on solar energy for everything that you're going to need to survive. And especially being a cold climate, that is a waste for me, a waste of my time. Getting some wood and starting a fire is going to make more sense for me over here. And cooking outside, yes, it's snowing, but who cares? Put on a coat and gloves and a long stick and you cook over a fire versus solar, that don't make no sense. It's not going
I
to make
mean,
no sense.
with the solar, we could well you have the panels, so we could recharge the batteries
Mhm.
with the solar. But like you saying, far as like the gas ones, those things, I don't care for that because that's something you're gonna have to store. And what if like we was the scenario where we was talking about is there, but you can't afford to buy it? Then what you do?
I wouldn't buy a gas. I wouldn't necessarily buy one now, but we already had a gas generator, and we were gonna throw it. I said, "You're not throwing out nothing. You're gonna leave that right there, because at least we have
Mhm.
something that can work for a few moments or whatever." And we have it. But okay, I'm gonna bring up Miss Shirley. If you want to put your camera off, you can go ahead. So I'm not throwing it out. That's for sure. But am I gonna use my solar bank to put on a skillet like as you said? No, that would never be on the table. I'm gonna go outside in the cold,
I
put
just
on
want
the
some of your
barbecue,
fries, baby.
use the propane for 2 minutes, let the charcoal heat because mine's dual purpose. Turn off the propane and let the charcoal heat and cook and bake in that. That's what makes more sense. I'm going to conserve my solar energy for things that can only use that type of cell phones, tablets, laptops, maybe a diffuser or some kind of COPD, whatever medical equipment. But other things have to have other resources. Wood is still going to be your friend. Gasoline going to be your friend. Kerosene still going to be and propane going to be your friend. Don't
Okay,
think
can
it's
I
going to be
say
all
something?
electrical. Yes, Miss Shirley.
Um, I agree with all of that. I've been around a little longer than most of y'all, so I've gone through so many snowstorms here since we're in Northeast Ohio, and we're fortunate that we have gas. I know a lot of people have all electric, and that would cause you guys an issue. But by us having gas here, the majority of us, we can still turn our ovens on. We can still turn the burner tops on. We can boil water. We can still eat. We can still heat up our homes to a certain degree because once electricity is off, there's no fan blowing in your furnace. So
Mm,
push come to shove, that's how we survived here. And I have had kerosene heaters for the back room because it's like a sun room and there's a lot of windows, and so it can get a little breezy even if you put plastic upon it because the house is not insulated. So I've used just about every form that you have spoke on except solar. Solar is the only thing I haven't stepped up to yet. I would like to, but for now, old school, you come up with your snuggies and your long johns and
mm-hmm.
your blankets
The
and
flannel.
comforters and you know, your granny gowns or what have you to stay warm. And especially if you can't get out to go to someone else's house. You know, like a lot of you guys have brought out, you have bug out bags, but what happens when you got the bug in where you can't get out and go to the grocery store or go get kerosene for your care? You kind
Oh, we
of
mentioned that in the beginning.
plan
Maybe you missed
ahead.
that. Yeah, I'm staying home because
Yeah.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying my
Yeah.
behind here.
Yeah. So you know what you have in your house, you know how you can survive. You know, my neighbors used to ask me, you know, we had a blackout, your house was the only one lit. You know, I had candles, I had oil lamps and what have you, and I had sensor lights in certain rooms. They only came on when you went in, so I made sure I just came from the Dollar General to get some more batteries and other stuff because, like I said, this is November in Northeast Ohio, so we can wake up and it can be 4 feet of snow outside. So
Exactly.
you have to, you can't get ready. You got to be ready because you never know what
That's
it's
That's
right.
going to be
right.
like by the time you wake up. So I just had
Hmm.
to say that.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the beginning because I'm not going nowhere. I don't plan on going to the bush. Like, I'm going to do what I have to do here and to the best of my ability. And if I have to leave, I hopefully have enough skills to survive, but I'm not going to go in no bush. I'm not a bush crafter. I can't
Yeah.
even put a nail into a stud. I was struggling. So where am I
Yeah.
going?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And like I said, if you experience it one time, it'll teach you how to find an alternative method to
Yeah.
keep on
That's right.
everything.
Hmm.
And Miss Shirley, I was born and raised in Ohio. I know about that 4 feet of snow.
Yeah. 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 Well,
Yeah.
I went to sleep and it was a sunny day and the
Yep.
ground was dry. And
Yep.
I woke up the next morning and I couldn't even see out the windows.
That's what
They were all
Exactly.
happens.
frosted.
And going to the
Exactly.
store on that day is ain't not gonna happen. So you need to have stuff
No,
in your house
no.
already.
And I
Hmm.
said, you know what? Not a problem. I crawled back in my bed and went back to sleep. I mean, at that point, I was prepared, and there
Hmm.
wasn't nothing else for me to do. I'm not shoveling no snow, so
Right.
I was like, I'm good.
Now, sometimes you have to prepare for other people. When I lived in an apartment in Ohio, and my mom was a smoker, God rest her soul. We tried to get her to stop smoking. We never did. But my mother was a smoker, but she never in her life drove a car. Never. So it's like 15 below zero. And she calls me and says, Sheila, honey, I need you to go to the store and get some cigarettes. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, but that's mom. So you say, yes, ma'am. So I got smart. So what I did was I went out and purchased about 4 or 5 cartons of cigarette, and I kept it at my
Yeah,
house because I didn't smoke. So she'd say, "Go to the store." So all I had to do was just run out real quick, grab that, take it to her, and then come back. But you have to
That wouldn't
figure
be
out
me. I
ways
said
to
hell to the no.
prepare. Huh?
You can smoke a twig at that rate. I ain't gonna buy you nothing. I'm staying home. I ain't buying a case on your behalf. You want to
Yeah,
smoke a twig? Go get a
yeah.
pine
But
needle and smoke that.
yeah, but my mom taught me a lot because she was one of those people that when we were kids, we did everything. She wanted to change something. We had to learn how to paint, cut wood, nail stuff, put it together. So I know all those experiences. I can do a lot of that stuff. I said, but so the basics like that keeps me prepared. That's why they were surprised. I went outside and built my own greenhouse. So
Nice.
basic skills is good to have.
It
You
is.
know, I,
yeah,
You can't knock
Yeah.
skills. Skills are
Yeah,
priceless.
that's why I
oh
said
my
I
God,
want to learn the basic skills of bushcrafting, the
exactly.
basics, in
Exactly.
case I need them.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I learned. I always tell people God gave you 2 hands so you can do things for yourself. Learn how to do them, and you're never too old to learn if you're
No.
able to use your
no.
hands. Use your hands. That your
And you
hands
know what?
will,
My
Yeah.
neighborhood.
yeah,
I'm
your
sorry.
hands will
Go
save
ahead.
your life.
Yeah. In my neighborhood, they offer free classes for women homeowners in regards to putting up curtain rods or putting a nail in the wall to hang pictures, or and then they started expanding. They showed them how to tile a bathroom, tile a floor, change your washer out, in your faucet and what have you. And
Hmm.
it's like, why are you, paying somebody $40 and $50 and they got a guy to come in there in 2 seconds. He didn't put a new washer in and gone about his business. They say, no, quit throwing your money out the window. And they started having all kinds of classes. And I even started showing some of the women in my neighborhood. I'm like, Marie, I'm not scared of power tools. You know, I can show you how to cut wood and put on brackets and put
Exactly.
nails and screws and stuff in. They made me go out and upgrade my tool kit, you know, for cordless screwdrivers, drills and all this other stuff so I can help other folks. Now I have folks calling me talking about, can you help me put the curtain rod up, you know, because they know I'm handy. And I was like, there's just some things to me, it's just so simple that
To figure
everyone
out.
should know how to do them.
Yeah, to
But if
figure
you
out.
don't, find
Yeah.
somebody who knows, and then they can work alongside you.
They
You know,
can
like my
teach you.
son, my granddaughter's husband, he didn't think I was handy until he came over to the house and said, who did that? My granddaughter said, Graham, Graham, Graham. Every time he pointed at something, Graham, Graham. And he was like, oh, you pretty good with your hands. I said, not all women have long nails and wear weaves and sit around waiting on you to bring them bonbons. Not
Come on,
all of us is like that.
No Peggy Bundy over
When
here,
I
right?
right.
when I moved in the house, that was my thing. I had a power drill, but really didn't know how to use it. But that was my thing. I said, when I learn how to use this power drill, it's game over. You ain't gonna be able to tell
Mhm.
me nothing.
You know
Can,
what?
can,
I was single. I was single till I was 40 before I married my husband. So by then I was out on my own. I literally had to teach myself how to do all that stuff, but I had a good start from my mom. But when I moved on my own, I learned how to do pretty much all that stuff. So when I married my husband, he looked at me one day, he said, Sheila, I know you're independent. I know you can do all these things. She said, but I'm your husband. You have to learn how to let me do some things. And I really appreciated that because he's a very helpful person. But he knows and he laughs at me. He said, it's one thing about it. My wife knows how to get me to do something. She'll go and get the tools and start it. Then I have to go out there and finish. So,
That's
you
right.
know,
uh-huh.
you,
Uh-huh.
excuse me, there's
Bless you.
ways to do things, but like I said, I'm so used to I'm not afraid. You tell me there's a problem, I'm like, okay, let's just do it this way, jump in and do it. That's me. That's how I've always been, and it's hard for me to stand back and not do anything. When they redid the electricity in this house, I'm looking at the electrician. Now I say I don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure out you're not going to tell me an electrical panel is supposed to be over a water heater. I said anybody with common sense should know that should not be there. And
Yeah.
didn't the electric company tell them, well, that's going to have to be moved? I was like,
Yep.
you don't. I mean, it's very simple: electricity, gas, and fire. That doesn't make no kind of way. So you
Earth,
know,
wind,
Mhm.
and
so
fire. This ain't no
yeah.
music, man. It's real life.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm pointing stuff out. And the guy says, well, the landlord, I said, I don't care what the landlord says. He's not here. I was like, I don't plan to go kaboom anytime sooner. Fix it. So they fixed it. I think they were kind of glad when I was out of the way because I was over them like a hawk watching
Yep.
Oh,
everything.
they hate
They
that.
think
They
women are
hate that.
stupid.
Oh my
They don't understand
goodness.
that we have brains. They
Yeah,
think
and
we're
they can't
stupid.
stand it
I
when
have
they
been telling them
find
that
one
all the
who
time.
has
Yeah.
brains. They can't
Yeah.
stand it when they find one who
Well,
has brains and knows something.
I
You
think
know what,
y'all.
Jones
I
True? If
think
I
I
ask my
know.
landlady,
I,
oh, go ahead, African.
I
Go ahead, Jay.
oh hey Miss Shirley, how you doing?
All right,
I'm,
babe.
I'm over here struggle streaming. I'm trying not to find a reason in life to kick puppies because I'm frustrated right now. But I'm gonna
Oh,
keep
don't
pushing.
do that.
But the
Oh,
thing
poor
is,
baby.
I, all of y'all ladies up here have so much to offer, and I feel privileged. That's one reason why I keep fighting so hard to get back up here because I really do appreciate and respect being enlightened and being in the presence of all of these you know, beautiful sisters just, saying what they gotta say. And I'm gonna say this, Bougie said something. It was probably 3 times ago when my internet cut out and I had to come back. But neither one is right, neither one is wrong. But when it comes to bugging in and bugging out, um, when you it's a certain level when you have these kind of discussions amongst women, especially women that I respect, it brings a different energy. And for anybody who's dead set on one way or dead set on another way, when it comes to preparedness and getting yourself ready for whatever situations you may anticipate you gonna encounter, Bougie, I can't remember exactly what it was verbatim, so I won't try to mimic that. But I can remember when my mother was still living, and before she when me and April was already prepping at that time, and this is before my mom went into hospice. When we had these conversations, I encourage people to always try to imagine yourself in somebody else's position and circumstance, because it wasn't no way in hell I would ever leave my mama. My wife is highly medically trained. She spent her whole life in the medical field, and we would have worked with whatever we had afforded to us at the moment. But sometimes you ain't going nowhere. And before my mother passed away, and yeah, after that we moved to Africa and did all this and did all that. But at the time, for a few years of my life, I wasn't going nowhere. Whatever happened, whatever go down, it's gonna go down right where we at. Whatever we got, we gonna make it work. Whatever we ain't got, I'm gonna go out and get it one way or another. But man, this has been such an amazing conversation, because it opens up the door for people to imagine the alternative perspective, what other people are going through and how other people may feel. If you got a 2-month-old or a 2-year-old and it's 20 below, a whole lot of women and daddies, I ain't finna go outside with my baby unless the building
Mm-hmm.
we occupying is burning down. We ain't going no doggone where. So
We ain't
I
either.
think bugging in and bugging out are equally as important. Prepare for both,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
solidify yourself on one side or another. And the last
Yeah.
thing I'm gonna say is, um, you never know what life gonna make you do until life make you do something. Because we all have plans, but in the words
Never
again of the
lie.
great Mike Tyson, everybody got a plan until they get
So
hit in
they
the
get
mouth.
punched in the face.
Tell the truth.
Yep.
Tell the
You
truth.
ain't lying. That's why you have to
Mm-hmm.
be able to pivot and be flexible. If I have to go into the wilderness, can I
Mm-hmm.
survive? Enough. And I'm sure I'll have to pick up things quickly. But until then, I'm going to stay in a building because that's what's going to be more safe for me
Right.
in my
Yep. Yeah.
situation.
I'd rather look for a building first.
Because as I think D-Mood said earlier, when people are hungry and frustrated, they act different. It
Oh
becomes a
yeah.
war zone.
You got to think.
So
I'm thinking about my safety out there,
say
Yeah.
exactly.
and like Vision said, you're gonna have other people out there. Like I feel more safe if I find a shelter, some kind of shelter where we could barricade ourselves in, as far as our safety is
Yeah.
concerned. You out there in the wilderness, you just out there.
Exactly. And if you don't have every martial arts skill on the planet, then I would suggest you learn how to disguise and hide and remove yourself from the situation.
Right.
And
Well,
like
it's
Jay
a
say,
shame that you have to
everything
do that.
is situ. Go ahead,
Situational.
Elder.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is situational. So everybody have their different reasons for why they will do what they do. Because I have a special needs adult. I'm not going in the woods with her. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not. That's not going to work for
Not
me. It's
feasible.
not
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
work for me.
Right. Because you know where you can and cannot go, and you know what you can and cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you this quick story right quick. My granddaughter, she comes over and she looks in my cupboards, and I always have a row of stuff. Like I have like 4 or 5 bottles of maybe a ketchup and mustard and relish and this, that, and the other. And she's like, Grandma, what you waiting for? An apocalypse? You know? And I was like, I buy what I can afford when I can, because I never know when I won't have money, and I'll be able to eat if I can't do anything else. One day she came by and she said, Graham, I don't have time to stop by the store. Can I get a bottle of ketchup and a bottle of mustard from you? I was like, oh, now you're talking about my little extra stuff. And she's like, we're going to
Uh-huh.
go through that.
Uh-huh.
I was like, you the one started it. I'm just finishing it.
You know what, Miss Shirley? I
Yeah.
have a sewing room, and I haven't really been able to do things like I want. So I said I've just turned my sewing room into half of it's going to be a pantry. got more
Yeah.
shelves, gonna stock more stuff,
Yeah.
and just be
Yeah.
ready for, just be prepared for
Yeah.
anything. I still
Yeah.
have about 8 packs of rice that I've vacuum sealed. I have a vacuum sealer. I vacuum seal what I
Yeah.
can.
I bought one too. Yeah, I was buying half cases of like string beans and soup and all this stuff. I said, normally I don't eat this. I try to eat fresh or frozen more so
Right.
than canned because of the sodium. But when the winter hit and push come to shove, I got a hand crank. I got a couple of hand crank can openers. I will survive. You know?
Amen.
That's right. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up because I've been on here for seems like 10 hours, but maybe 4. But I want to thank everyone for their contribution. We're definitely going to talk about this again next week because I think maybe me was becoming prepped fatigue, but
Right.
it's no time to get fatigued because things are quickly and rapidly shifting, and
That's,
people are taking wars over there and over here and bringing it to your neighborhood and picking a side, taking a stance. There's what's the word, like outbursts, there's fights breaking out, there's things that are happening, acts of violence, vandalism. Everyone's picking a side and bringing outside wars to your front door. And if something goes left or some kind of incident, I don't want to be in the crowd looking for rice and cornmeal at that time. So there's no time to get fatigued. Do what you got to do in your situation. Take the tips that work for you. It doesn't work, you just leave it alone. It may work in the future. We're not always going to be where we are. We might move, relocate. We don't know, but just be open to the conversation. Thanks, everybody. Hit the thumbs up before you leave. Be kind to
Thank
yourself.
you for having me.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good one.
And be kind to others.
Thank you for
That will
allowing
go
us to
far.
join
That will
in.
take you far.
All right.
Thank you, elders. Later,
We
Africans.
love y'all.
Later.
Love you all.
Love you
Love
too.
you.
Bye bye.